Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream. The shadows of that time are cast beneath the streetlight beam. As the world moves on, time sings.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to another edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. You know, some of you are super duper stingy with that like. Oh, you can hit the dislike. Either way, I want to welcome all of you here to another edition. As you guys can see the title, it says Becoming Third World News. And, you know, for some of you, you'll be like, oh, I thought all countries in Africa are third world. Well, I hate to break it down to you. There is, you know, sections of Africa where there are white people. And I know, especially, you know, I'm from, you know, let me give you how the world is divided. This is why I enjoy these conversations, because you see, I'm someone who is very self-aware, and I don't complain about, you know, where I came from, you know, the hand that I was dealt. However somebody looks at it, to me, it's been an adventure. I'll give you a little story about me, why, you know, how I know so much about the world. Because, you know, like, I have experienced it all. See, when I was growing up, when I was born, my father was a diamond businessman, diamond dealer. You know, we lived in Sierra Leone in the east, called the Connaught district. That's where the diamonds are. So mind you, in Sierra Leone, they discovered the diamonds in 1930. Back then, the white people colonized Sierra Leone. But the way you look at colonization, because I understand they put it in a movie, you think it's just this one day white people are rustling the blacks. No. That's not how it happened. But either way, it's more like in West Africa, it's more of a, you know, bureaucratic, how you see the government. For example, like you look at in Washington, D.C., the people that are in D.C., you know, Think about the laws they are coming up with, the crazy stuff they put out there. Generally, your regular person, regular people in America do not even agree, to that. This is weird stuff to them, right? But imagine if those people in DC were just making those statements and rules, but the people they are making it to don't even hear about it, so they wouldn't care. So my tribe was one of the tribes. We were not affected by the white people. We did not care. We didn't even know that colonization even existed because it was never in our way. So my people were the rulers of ancient kingdom of Ghana that you guys hear about, not the country Ghana. The capital was Kumbisale. We are the Soninkes. We're truly, like when I say I'm a Soninke, I'm not even, you guys think I'm trolling, but I am not. We are actual people that existed, ancient, long time tribe. So we are into gold, diamond, anything precious that is in the ground. We are interested in, and we have vast knowledge about it. So I'm just painting you a picture. So that tells you no one can stop us, because the white man did not, the things he didn't know exist. Our people knew. For centuries we've been doing the same thing, so they could not stop that. But long story short, I'll bring you to modern times. In Sierra Leone, if you look at it, just like most of Africa, the remote areas, they have the diamonds, the precious stones, but they don't know the value. They don't know what it is. Who are they going to trade it with? So those of us who have knowledge of it go there and get it and trade it with the white people. I'm sure some of you are going to try to say, oh, look at this sellout. Look, I'm sorry that your people didn't have the knowledge of precious stones, gold, diamond. They happen to be in the bottom. I can't help you with that. I just happen to be a part of this group. And in this group, so eventually there is a shift, because some people, imagine you are someone who works in diamond mines. You are in that mine. See, my parents, they own it, the mines. So technically, we are foreigners in those countries. So we traded with the Lebanese, the Jews, the white people. But nothing other than trade, just straight business. But imagine if you people were the indigenous people of that land. You have no knowledge about it, but you are in those ditches digging. Those ditches, they do collapse, people die. And you know what they are doing it for? Look, if I tell you, you won't believe it. Cup of rice. Yeah. So it's easy, it's easy to just, become wealthy if you're doing business with people like that. Like some people used to go to Angola, because you see, Angola had a civil war. So they planted lots of gold, mines. So to get to the regions, to meet those people where the diamonds are, you have to be willing to get blown up. Who do you think was risking going through those mines? That's right, you guessed it, my people. So they go there, they get those diamonds, and those diamonds, back in those days, the people that live in those bush, they just exchange it for, like, literally you can exchange it for a shirt. And they were doing it. Those people didn't have access to shirt, nice cotton shirt, second-hand shirt. They bring it from the city, take it to those villages, and they exchange it for diamonds. This might sound like a fiction to you, I get it. Because when I look at most people, when you read about history, when you read about books, you're reading about people like me. Even with all that, I have also seen civil war. I have seen coup d'etats. I'm just bringing you in. And I've mostly grown up, knowing about South Africa, the subject of this show. We see the struggle, how the South Africans were marching against uh, apartheid. So when I hear the subject at hand, that, oh, South Africa, even the question is, South Africa becoming a failed state. They said ever since the blacks took over in South Africa, South Africa is becoming a failed state. So I know what failed state look like, because the lack of electricity. Guys, you know how you watch those movies from like the 1800s and stuff like that? Yeah. Look, believe it or not, most of my life we had kerosene lamps, but I did watch movies somehow, because the electricity was so unstable. So you need to have kerosene lamps. I know most of you don't even know what that is. You wouldn't even know how to start a kerosene lamp. So as a kid, we used to go out there, you go look for kerosene. Sometimes there is shortage of kerosene, then you switch to candle. So when some of you are complaining and you don't even know how to read, you were born with electricity, it makes me wonder. When you point at things and say they're obstacles, for me, they're adventures. Even watching action, where men are shooting at each other. You can't believe that I have witnessed all this. I have. And then you threw that, and I've even worn those refugee, sweaters. Those of you who are refugees, you would know those sweaters I'm talking about. The one that Red Cross give you. Um, well, I needed some sweater, and I pretended to be a refugee. But don't hold that against me. They were nice sweaters. I pretended to be a refugee and I got it. Okay. But people that live that refugee life, running from their home. Have you ever ran away from your home? No. But you see, in South Africa, the white people came there. You know, um, they control the entire place for hundreds of years. Because I think they've been there since far back at 1620. 1620. And South Africa is majority black African nation. So today's subject, you would see the videos I'm going to use. You will see how, like, when somebody is truly in the bottom, they get to become the complainers. That's right. They become the haters. They become the whiners. But are they just whining? It's okay to listen to your critics, the whiners and stuff like that. So the white people, because they are part of South Africa too. So now the white people, maybe they've become the propagandists, they've become the haters, they've become the whiners. So for today, this topic is going to make some of you that wanted to see white people cry, or, some of you that want to be realistic and say, all right, did South Africa really, are they failing? You have to go back to, asking, what are they failing from? These were people who were on the streets fighting with white people, being, kept in shanty towns, to now drive in Bentleys. We've seen it. We used to see on TV as kid, when you see South Africa, it's always like they show like these poor blacks, with their hats and their sweaters, and we were all out there, rooting for South Africa. I'm just telling you, even the story that I'm giving you about me, because with my life, it's an adventure. It's always been one. Because I'm in that action, and next thing you know, I see myself in the middle of New York City. Imagine that. Talk about coming from the bottom, and now we're here. You see? So that's what South Africa, that's what happened to South Africa. In fact, myself, when I found myself in the middle of New York, I didn't find myself. When I got myself there were people who were hating on me. I think for West Africans, that's what it's become. When the South Africans were like in the bottom, we thought, even though we didn't have all those stable things, we lived like we were in the 1800s, right? So we were like, we are in solidarity with South Africa. So now South Africa have come up. I've noticed the daggers have turned against them. And today, this subject here, they would be very pleased to hear that South Africa is now looking like it's becoming West Africa. That can be good, because West Africa is trying to be South Africa. But is this true? Are the blacks competent? But before we go to that, let's look at some black countries, how they are majority black countries, what is going on in West Africa. I'll give you fast news. Are the West Africans getting along? Are West Africans able to run West Africa? Can they make, can they give stable electricity, water, basic necessities? So far, they failed. The South Africans have enjoyed this. In fact, I'm telling you, I'm someone who even sometimes we used to get water from the well. I have lived that life, okay? I have lived the unstable life, electricity. But after I fare it, I actually live with electricity longer than I didn't live with it. So that means I've gotten used to the white way of living, where that's white excellence. The water won't go away, the electricity won't go away. So when the white people were in South Africa in charge, they're still there, but when they were in charge, it looked like that's what it was like. But now they are saying South Africa is becoming West Africa. And what do they mean by that? Let me show you the latest news from the country of Niger. The English, if you're English speaker, they call it Niger. The French call it Niger. This is a Sahelian country. And for some reason, this place, they just can't get it together. It's very, very unstable, like, most of the countries over there in black land. Because you see, the world is divided into ghettos. So West Africa is the big ghetto. The talent is there, everything is there. But also, they made it hard, because it's like a vast ghetto, a huge ghetto. But the way West Africans are doing it, in a way, I like that. Because it's like we are grinding. We're grinding, even though some of the things I'm about to show you might look negative. But what can we learn from all these things? Because if you find yourself excited that South Africa is in the state of what the video I'm about to show, that's what it is. If you find yourself excited, that means you are a hater. I just want to make that clear. But, this is the Afridamus report. You have every right to be a hater. Hate. But I'm not the one that's going to condition you to, be a hater or not. You're well within your rights. That's right. You are well within your rights. But however way you think, you're the one that gets to live with it. We are just here, to edutain one another. Let me show you a video here of the latest. This is like within hours, like what is happening in the country of Niger. The French call it Niger, English call it Niger. or some of you will call it nigger. Nigger. That's the other nigger line. Let me show you. Give me a moment. Let me do my fair use here, and then we will get right into it.
No, she's married to that big guy. The big guy with the eyeliner, right?
Drogo.
Drogo. Daddy and I are never going to get a divorce, but if we did, we would love you both just as much.
Oh, yeah.
It's a relief. Thank you, Mums. Hit the play button.
I have a major announcement right now. The 1st of July is White History Month. So the whole month is White History Month from now on. Happy White History Month.
It's White History Month. I'm gonna celebrate with my friends. It's White History Month. So be sure to tell everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate. But this month's gonna be White History. It's White History Month, and I'm gonna celebrate America. It's White History Month, and I'm gonna scream it to everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate, but this month's gonna be White History.
All right, that was White History Month. You guys know July is White History Month. So, guys, as you know, some white people will claim that they were in South Africa before the blacks. And I don't know how to even respond to that, but I'm open to debating about it. Okay? People actually do say this. I mean, at that point, that's where I usually see Negroes are like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about this. And do you blame them? Because when you say this to any black person, their brain, it's like you shake it up. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? But either way, let's get into the show here. I'm going to show you what's going on in Niger. Niger's president is under detention, meaning there's a coup d'etat there. One of the examples I gave you. I've witnessed coup d'etats taking place in 3 different countries in my lifetime. So here we go. So I'll give you an example. The scene you're about to see here, I have personally been in a scene like this as a kid. Here we go. So this is Niger. Their president is under detention, meaning somebody is not happy with him. They are tired of him, so they want him gone. So he's arrested by the army. This is what happens in Africa. I would say West Africa. So, all right. So you guys see the chaos in the country of Niger. So to me, when I hear stuff like that, that's what looks like instability. Is it descending into failed state? But Niger, for some reason, never can get it together. So Niger is a Sahelian country next to Burkina Faso, shares a border with Burkina and Ghana, not Ghana, Nigeria. But now let us look at what Ghana is doing, to refugees. Ghana have been accused of being mean to their neighbors. Let's see. Here we go.
Ghana is currently hosting more than 8,000 Burkinabés who are fleeing the terrorist insurgency currently ongoing in the French country. Earlier this week, media reports showed viral videos of what has been described as a targeted operation led by the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Immigration Service that was supposedly forcing vulnerable Burkinabe refugees out of the country back into the country where they have been running.
Did you guys hear what the man just said? So Ghana had their military and their immigration, so they are roughing up these Burkinabés. They are being tight on them. In another news, I heard they were Fulanis. So Ghana does not trust the Burkinabe, meaning the Burkina Faso people. They trust the diasporans, the blacks, over their own neighbor. We have to check Ghana on that. But Ghana is running an operation because they said they need to keep it tight because they don't want these people to bring their violence over. So Ghana is accusing these refugees of violence. So do you guys think Ghana is wrong in what they are doing? Should they extend their hand to their neighbors who are suffering, or they should continue to keep their borders tight, bringing, like they're literally gathering their army together? So Ghana is not, I don't know why Ghana is pissed off at these people, what they are suspicious of, but I would hope the Ghanaians can hit the link and tell us why their country is being so hostile and being xenophobic.
Away from. The UN Refugee Agency described the process as a violation of the human rights of these people. But today, the Ghana Refugee Board, which is the government agency that has been managing these refugee camps in northern Ghana, has come out to say that this cannot be true and that the government of Ghana was committed to receiving even more refugees who did want to leave Burkina Faso.
Man, hey, what happened to Pan-Africanism? Did you guys hear? Oh, let's leave all the borders wide open. Well, Ghana say no. Ghana saying no. We over here in Ghana, we do not believe in open border policy. You can't be just running up and down into Ghana like that. We gotta invite you. If you want to come into Ghana, you better first move to America. Make sure you get that American blue passport. Then Nana Akufo will invite you. Then you're safe to come. But you show up with one of those dusty passports, Ghana is like, nah, you ain't coming in. Is Ghana wrong for these people, or they are doing the right thing? Let me know in the comment section.
The asylum seekers who have indicated their intention to seek asylum, who have availed themselves to the protection of the state of Ghana. None of those people have been returned. But we are all aware of the situation in Burkina Faso. We know initially started as a humanitarian situation, a refugee situation, and progressively, somehow, it has deteriorated into the situation that has caused the Burkinabe nationals themselves to start fleeing. So clearly, any mass movement brings along risks.
Ghana's military has said it only expels illegal immigrants and people suspected of being terrorists.
Guys, did you guys hear this? Ghana is so racist. Did you? White people are like, what the? Did Ghana just call other black people illegal immigrants? Yes, white people, you heard correctly. Yes, that's right. So yes, the other blacks that are coming over from the border, they are illegal immigrants. You just heard it correctly. So don't let the Pan-Africans come over here and start talking about, oh man, the border was clear until the white man showed up. No. Before the white man showed up, in 1439, go look back, Ghana still had their immigration at the border. You could not enter the place called Ghana today illegally. Even back then, go ask the Portuguese. The Ghanaians had to check their papers. I have gone back to look back how far back Ghana have these people. You present day, the place you call Ghana, you know, the Ashantis over there. Yes, they've always checked who can come in. This is nothing new. So, yes, some of you believe that Ghana should protect their border, and Judah said this is absolutely ridiculous for Ghana, a small country claiming to be Pan-African. Well, Judah, the lines would be open at some point. So, people, without wasting any time, we would go straight to the topic at hand here. South Africa becoming failed state. You see, people can say that, but let us believe South Africa is not Nigeria. That's right. And I know the Nigerians are going to say, oh, it's better than Gambia. No doubt. South Africa would make Gambia look like 18th century village. Okay? That, I'll give it to you. You know? So, but, you know, because the Nigerians are the illegal immigrants over there in South Africa. You see? So that's usually my standard. If Nigerians come in numbers, that means your place is happening. That you got to give it to Nigerians. But then again, yeah, you do find them everywhere. It's kind of hard. Because they're in Sudan too. In Burundi, the poorest country on earth. I heard they're in Somalia too. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Now that I thought about it, they will go anywhere. They are probably already on Mars. Just saying. But the point is, South Africa, those countries in that region, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, you know, I mean, just look at it. Those people, those blacks over there, they have a higher standard of living than, you know, the rest of most of Africa. So, but they are saying those people with that standard of living, they are declining because the black presidents that came through, they said South Africa is rife with corruption. We've seen one of their former presidents that they convicted, sending him to jail, Jacob Zuma, right? So, but that proves they even practice justice the right way. In West Africa, that doesn't happen until if the military, like they are arresting the one in Niger today, but you know, most people, like they would say, oh, look at those South Africans. So the blacks there have become so advanced, they don't just hide in the, you know, to say this is the flaw, we're gonna hide it. No, they convicted Zuma. You guys saw that. So they do practice justice. But are they the white people? They are also citizens of South Africa. The white people are in the struggle. So we have to hear what their struggle is. Because when the blacks were in the bottom, we supported the blacks. So now the blacks are in charge. And I mean, when I say let's all be black, but that doesn't mean turn the city into darkness. That doesn't mean turn off the lights. But they said that's what South Africa is doing. South Africa is now Lagos. Wherever you go around, all you hear is generators. The noise is off the chart. And as you guys know, I've never been to South Africa, but I love South Africa. Okay? But this is coming from our main white reporter. You know? So we have to hear from him because he is South African too. I know some of you will go, oh, Afrikaners, I can't believe we're listening to the white man. But they are South Africans too. So maybe the blacks in South Africa are not telling us the truth. Maybe they are saying they are doing better than Nigeria when in fact they are just like Nigeria. No electricity. How you have so much oil and you can even have stable electricity. The type of shame that Nigeria keep bringing upon us as from the black factory. Jesus. Okay. But this is not about Nigeria. Let's leave them out of this. Okay? Audrey, I know Audrey is getting upset. Audrey, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, here we go. Let me play this video. Let's hear what this man has to say.
South Africa is in a state of emergency, and it's insane. I mean, what do you expect from a country where the parliament looks like this?
You see, some of us don't know English properly. And then we can only come and say, hong, 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 like that.
Honorable Matisa.
Yes.
Hong, hong, hong. Honorable Matisa.
Hong, hong,
Honorable Matisa.
That's the only thing that you know.
Honorable Matisa.
Yes.
You know when you're proven right, and you have every right in the world to go up to someone and say, I told you so. But you're the better man or better woman, and you decide against it, and you just keep your mouth shut. Well, this isn't one of those times. I'm going to say right now, I bloody told you so. Now, if you're wondering what I'm referring to, a number of years back in Beijing, I met up with a black South African lady who had a little bit of an issue with my videos about South Africa. You see, she thought that I was being unrealistic and too harsh in my criticism of South Africa. And we had a very reasonable chat, but constantly, and during the chat, she would push the ANC party line that, oh, there's nothing wrong and that it's apartheid's fault that the power systems are failing in South Africa and that the ANC government is, going to fire up some old coal reactors. Everything's going to be fine. They know what they're doing. They're making a plan. Well, guess what? That's bullshit. They didn't make a plan. And now it's so bad in South Africa that the power is off between 6 and 13 hours a day. Now, I'm not making this up, guys. For this entire year so far, every single day of the year, the power has been off nationwide in South Africa. And it just depends on your area. And it depends on the time of year, but it can be up to 16 hours of power off during the day. Now, how this works, it's called load shedding, is you have an app from Eskom, which is the government-owned power company, and it will alert you, and it's going to say to you.
So if you look at how, imagine, South Africa is built like this, very like a European standard, right? So for white people, Europeans, this is a no-no. And imagine living in this concrete jungle and the lights, they shut off the electricity. I mean, pretty much in these cities, these large cities is run by electricity. So where I come from, like Gambia, that's the advantage we have. You can live with the electricity or not, and you would still be fine because we don't have skyscrapers. You see, but the electricity is still needed amply, but you're better off, right? When you didn't have electricity and you slowly walk your way to stabilize it versus having stable electricity all the time, you're used to it, And then all of a sudden they are like, nah, man, you know what? We're going to shut it off. So as you guys can see, they showed their parliament. So some of their, representatives are wiling out. Okay. But I'm not going to judge based off of that short little clip. We don't know why that man was making that sound. Even here in the United States, we've seen people in Congress, do crazy, weird, wild stuff. Okay. So, but at least in South Africa, it looks like they still are open to the debate. They are still having the debate. So, with what they are explaining here, this means their power level is their power, the way they are describing it, is now a West African country standard. You see, it's like Sierra Leone. Okay, they're almost like Sierra Leone.
Hey, for instance, you're going to have your power cut between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Okay, and then you'll have it on for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then it'll go off between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., that type of thing, and it'll add up. So I'll just show you a screenshot. I asked my parents to send me a screenshot of their app the other day. Here it is, 11 and a half hours of power cuts on that particular day. Now, you might think to yourself, well, I mean, that's kind of...
So you see this? So he's telling you his mom sent him the screenshot. You see, that's the thing with white people. Oh, they would gather the evidence. That's right. They gather the evidence because you see, the white people are used to electricity, having electricity. So, I mean, because the blacks, they're like, oh, they shut it off again. Black people can just cope. What are they going to do? They can't blame it on the white people. Their own people are the ones in charge. So now the white people are the ones complaining. Do you guys think the blacks in South Africa are incompetent? Do you think the white people built this great, beautiful country? And then the blacks are like, we want to be in charge. And now they put the blacks in charge and the country is failing. Do you guys think that's what is happening? Oh, this white man is just overreacting. Let me know. Let us continue.
Kind of crazy. And I'm pretty sure most of you out there aren't used to the idea of not having power at all. If you live in a developed country, even in the developing world, even if you're living in the backwaters of a developing world somewhere, you probably have more power on during the day than South Africa.
Well, I mean, the way they are describing it, Gambia has more power than South Africa during the day. So there you go. So some of you that come here, you like to talk all that greasy stuff. Oh man, what is in Gambia? Well, according to this white man, what he just said here, that means in Gambia we have, stable electricity during the day than South Africa. How many Gambians have you been seeing online live? Their phones are fully charged. They're on their computer. They're able to join the live shows. That means electricity is available. Maybe, I don't know if the South Africans can even call today. Maybe their lights are shut off as we speak. It looks like South Africa can use Akon's help over there because Akon came to Gambia next door. Well, he said some good stuff, but I'm not going to disclose it because I don't want to make it sound like we don't believe Akon. You see, like, I don't want to make it seem like I don't believe what he's saying. But either way, the conversation was good. He can probably, according to what this man is saying over here, Akon, you heard it. The South African brothers need stable electricity. Because if it's looking like, even Gambia, little Gambia, we have more stable electricity than them. So, is he exaggerating? Because I've been hearing about this quite a bit, but I would like to hear from the black people's perspective as well.
But remember, this has happened every single day this year, and in the previous years, pretty much the whole year, it's the same deal. But you may not realize just how bad this is. Think about it. just yourself. Not only do you have to power all your normal devices like phones and computers and, you know, the usual stuff, watching TV, TVs, all your electronic devices that you use every day, you know, that we take for granted, your Apple Watch, everything has to be charged. Everything needs power. Forget those amenities. Think about the basics, okay? You're coming home from work and your garage door doesn't open because there's no power. Do you understand how devastating that can be? To be locked out of your own house because you can't open up your electric gate, you can't open up your garage. Anyway, so you park your car, you manually unlock your door, you walk in, you pull that lever.
Guys, he's absolutely correct. And imagine, I heard in South Africa, it is, you know, there's so many criminals around. So if you can't even, you know, get into your garage, I mean, I can't imagine like around here if lights were shutting off like that. You see? So he's letting you know you need electricity for all this stuff, which is true. Restaurants, your computers, your electronics, all that. But if they are shutting all this light off at this frequency, that is a problem.
You open up your garage, whatever, you can get into your house. Now you got no lights. What if you need to go to the gas station to get some gas? But the power is off, and so the pumps aren't working, so you can't pump gas. Now, you might think that that's something that shouldn't happen. They'll have backup power. No.
Looks like South Africa might start learning from West Africa. How do you pump gas without electricity? I knew there would come a time where all these technologies they think people invented, at some point people are going to turn around, come and learn from West Africa. How do you guys operate your your gas pumps? It's called a generator. South Africans might want to look into that. That's right. In West Africa, we believe in generators. That's why when you go to Nigeria, you can't even enjoy your music in some neighborhoods. I've seen the videos. Everyone's got a generator going. Everyone has got a generator going. So I don't know why they are not pumping gas. I mean, have they heard about what they call backup generator? But you know what that shows? That shows that the electricity was so stable. They didn't even feel the need to, you know, to get backup generator. Because, you know, in South Africa, they have coal over there. They have several different options. Several options of how to get energy. So I don't know what is going on with this power, you know, shortage that this man is speaking of. It has to be incompetence. What else could it be? Because South Africa, guys, do you know South Africa has one of the world's most rarest minerals in its soil? It's a very wealthy country. Their money, the rand is fast rising. That's why I'm surprised, because even like Namibia, which has like a very good stable economy, their money is pegged against the rand, so it's backed by the rand. In Africa, their currency is one of the currencies you can trade. So I don't understand how, you know, they are going through this. You see, I can understand if this was Cameroon, okay, or somewhere in Ghana. I can totally understand that. But South Africa, I mean, look at it. Look at where it's happening at. Yeah, this is not good. Let's continue.
Before I left South Africa, this happened to me a number of times. I'd be very low on gas or petrol, and I'd go to the local petrol station, and the power would be off at the petrol station, and I couldn't pump petrol or gas into my car. I'd have to make a plan and try to limp to the next station, you know, in a different area or whatever to try and find petrol. It's basic things like this that you kind of don't think about. If you own a business, let's say a restaurant, how do you keep your food fresh? You have your meat, you have your vegetables, all your ingredients that are in the back in a big freezer or in fridges, and they're all refrigerated and so on. When the power goes off, all your food goes bad. Because
Man, it sounds like South Africans are about to go back to the farm. I mean, it looks like they gotta go back to the farm, people. I mean, the foods and everything is going bad. Now you gotta grow what you eat. You grow it. You only harvest what you're gonna eat that very day. The refrigerator is the soil. You better continue watering them vegetables. That's right. Natural refrigeration. That's even better for you. But with the way this man is explaining this, this is why I keep telling Negroes to learn how to be self-reliant. Because imagine here in America, if you're someone who the only thing what you grew up on is McDonald's, Popeye chickens, Burger King. They have those in South Africa too. I'm just painting you like a scenario. You grew up on that. You cannot even boil egg on your own. So you'll be fine as long as Popeyes and all these places are open. But I'm just painting you a picture. Imagine you're hungry. They're like, hey, the lights, we ain't been getting lights. So therefore, Popeyes is not serving chicken. McDonald's is closed. All these places are closed. What are you going to do? Exactly. You would see Negroes lose their minds. So, but these South Africans are just chilling. So that means the blacks in South Africa are resilient. They are making it. Let's continue.
Sometimes the power goes off not just for a couple of hours. It can go off for an entire day or entire week in some cases. It depends on like the circumstances and the area.
But I heard through my investigation with all this, the power is shutting off. But there's this one neighborhood where there's a bunch of Nigerians there. Somehow they said their power has been stable 24 hours. How? You see what these Nigerians do? This is why people accuse them of nefarious things. How is the South African blacks not getting power? But that Nigerian neighborhood, I heard somehow their power is not shutting off. Are they bootlegging it? Hey, I'm just messing with you guys because I don't want some of the South Africans to be like, oh, these people are stealing electricity. No. I'm just messing with my Niger people. Okay, let's go.
But currently, you can be guaranteed the power is going to go off for at least 6 hours a day minimum. So they got 6 hours of your refrigerators not working. Of course, you can't run a restaurant like that. Okay, and many have closed. Now, a lot of you might think, hey, well, what about just putting in a generator or some kind of solar panels and so on to mitigate this? Well, here's the thing. The average generator that you can buy, you pull start, or, you buy these kind of fairly big. You can buy something from Harbor Freight, or you can buy a Honda or whatever. Well, first of all, they're expensive. And second of all, they actually suck. The kind of generator that people take on an RV or they have in their shed or whatever, that cannot power an industrial-sized freezer in a restaurant. That cannot power the big air conditioning units that are necessary to keep the restaurant nice and cool. Those kind of things can power small appliances here and there. Yeah, it can power your personal fridge at home. It can power your TV, your very basics, but that can't power a business. If you're going to power up a restaurant, and I'm using a restaurant as an example here, but this, of course, applies to every kind of business out there, you need a big generator, something that's capable of putting out the amount of wattage and energy that's needed to run large-scale systems. They're very expensive to buy, incredibly expensive to buy, especially in South Africa. There's a premium on generators. They're incredibly expensive to run, not only just to maintain them, but to actually fuel them with gas or with diesel or whatever they run on. So if you're running a small restaurant, it kind of destroys your business.
So do you guys see why I keep making the comparison? Because mostly in West Africa, but since Nigeria is the most populous country, in Nigeria, this is what they rely on: generators. The people have generators. So who is the blacks going to blame this one on over there in South Africa? So they would have to resort to generators. And the man is saying they are not even that effective. So a big country like South Africa with lots of investment, lots of large restaurants, I'm guessing, infrastructure to run hospitals, gas stations, banks. I mean, not having electricity would totally suck, because I can't imagine if, let's say, where I'm at over here, that happens, because this is such a large place. So here we go.
Because, well, not only do you have to deal with the lights going off and the air conditioners not working and all the food going bad in the back, but if you do manage to keep things running with generators and so on, now you've got a lot of noise. And second of all, it's going to cost you a lot more because now you've got a huge gas bill, as in a petrol bill that you have to pay on top of all your rent and your staffing and all that kind of stuff. So now you have to raise your prices. So you get the idea. It really doesn't work out. So lots of small businesses in South Africa have, of course, had to shut down because of this. And there's very little incentive to open a business under these circumstances. We spend a lot of our lives turning things on. It's always the beginning of something. It could be something fun, productive, wonderful, nerve-wracking.
I think with the way this light system is going in South Africa, pretty soon South African blacks would become, electricity refugees crossing over to Namibia and other borders. They definitely are not going to Cameroon because their light is unstable over there. Even Gambia is better because some of the Cameroonians are seeking asylum in Gambia as we speak. But here we go.
Or just plain stupid. There is, however, one thing we should never, ever forget to turn on if we're using the internet, and that is a VPN. This video is brought to you by the VPN of my choice, Surfshark. And what is a VPN? Well, think of it as a secure tunnel that allows you to access anything online without prying eyes or even your internet service provider.
Awesome. We have Josie Gold in the house. I'm glad the South Africans are in the house because, I want the South Africans to call in and challenge what this man is saying or confirm what he's saying.
Provider being able to see what you're doing. And security without some discount off of a 2-year. They don't have to agree on, where this budget money goes. It can just be used because it's a state of emergency. So this state of emergency is just another excuse to steal money from the government. It's not actually going to repair anything, I'll tell you that much. A friend of mine received a letter from his insurance company in South Africa, and the insurance company said that they will not cover any costs or damage related to complete grid failure. Now, when insurance companies are trying to cover their ass like that they suspect that something like that is going to happen. Why else would they be doing that? He's not the only one who's received that sort of letter from their insurance company in South Africa. For those of you who don't know what complete grid failure is, well, if you've ever seen the movie Mad Max, 2, The Road Warrior, that's complete grid failure.
I've seen both movies. If it's like that, man, that means South Africans are going to start becoming electricity refugees.
That's when the entire power...
I heard in Kenya, their power is pretty stable. So here we go.
Grid stops working. So you can no longer use the machinery to pump the fuel, to put into the trucks, to drive the trucks, to bring the fuel and the goods and the whatever's necessary to the different stations and power stations and the grocery stores and whatever. Everything grinds to a halt. The grocery stores no longer can fill the shelves because there's no transport anymore, right? Because everything's messed up. The computer systems that talk to each other to run everything that we're used to in our daily lives, like the traffic lights and banking, all that kind of stuff, all shut down. Complete grid failure means complete chaos. Complete grid failure is a possibility for the near future in South Africa. Of course, everything's going to be done to prevent this, but I'm just saying, if insurance companies are worried about it happening and sending letters to their clients, that it's a definite possibility. So that's how it stands in South Africa. People are dealing with not having power every single day nationwide. But how did it get there? Well, it's quite simple. It's because the government wanted it to get there, or the government was too incompetent to prevent it from getting there, is actually more accurate. You see, the power infrastructure in South Africa was built during the 50s, mostly, the current stuff. And for all intents and purposes, really good stuff, did the job. But when you've got aging power infrastructure like that, it needs to be maintained, it needs to be upgraded, it needs to be expanded. So when the ANC took over, they were given the playbook on how to do this. Jacob Zuma.
So he's talking about the corruption. So obviously he's saying that everything was good until Jacob Zuma came in. So that's what it sounds like he's doing. The ANC have been in power since Nelson Mandela, since independence. So here we go.
Zuma, in particular, decided to give all of the money that was supposed to be used to upgrade and maintain the infrastructure to his family members through corrupt tenderpreneurship and so on. So basically what he'd do is he'd say, okay, we need to upgrade the infrastructure. You're my cousin. I'm going to call you the new minister of upgrading infrastructure. Here's a couple of billion rand tender. And go upgrade the infrastructure, but actually don't worry about it. Just go buy yourself a bunch of BMWs and a mansion and call it a day. So that's oversimplification, of course, but billions and billions of rand.
So they're not. So it's becoming. So Jacob Zuma sounds like Jacob Zuma. Was was like a president in West Africa somewhere. Okay, just hiring his people. But here we go.
And that was meant to go to upgrading the infrastructure. Rand, by the way, is the South African funny money. It's the currency, which is completely useless now. So anyway, all the money that was supposed to go into upgrading the infrastructure and fixing it got flushed down the toilet to corruption, got given to family members. So the first solution is, of course, out the window. Now, you cannot really expect much from a government when the parliament looks like this.
To hell with you. I withdraw that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I withdraw.
Honorable Matisa.
So, of course, there is a way to quite easily overcome this issue, and that is to allow private energy companies in to generate electricity. And of course, I've seen this all over the United States. Every state seems to have its own little, power generation and gas provider and so on. And this is great because when you...
This is true. So that's why I don't understand even like the Africans who like to come in and talk about, they want to be like the United States and stuff like that. But in the United States, a lot of stuff is private run. That's why it's probably so effective, because when private entities run companies and serve people, it's more effective because it's about money. I understand you Africans are repelled by somebody making money. God forbid you create something to make money off of it. Oh, why can't you make it free? Are you benefiting? You need to pay for it. That's what encourages people to continue producing, but the person uses their time, their effort, everything. They don't want to pay. So that's why many Africans seems like they are so repulsed by like a private entity, controlling, certain areas and providing the service. So that's what it's all about. For example, in my country, in Gambia, they have this bridge that they say it's a private company they are gonna have lease it to, I guess for 100 million for like 15 years or so. But a lot of these people, I understand where they're coming from. I get it. Maybe the way the deal was ran, but I'm saying if the deal was open, it's best sometimes you let private entities run these things. So let me continue with this. I'm going to drop the link here in a second.
You've got different power providers. Of course, there's a lot of competition involved. They'll be striving to provide a better service than the other guy. They'll be doing things like undercutting the prices to make themselves look more attractive, to gain more clients. So it's very healthy. But the ANC government does not want private power companies to come in, because then they won't get all the money. They won't be able to steal the money, because you have to understand that power is something that is so essential that nobody can go without it. Everybody needs it. And so they have a stranglehold on every single citizen in South Africa. If you want power, the only way you can get it is to buy it from Eskom, the government-owned, ANC-owned, infiltrated, corrupted entity, Eskom. So if another provider came in and could suddenly provide better power, cheaper, everybody would immediately flock to them, and the government would lose out on all those billions of rands of corrupt money to buy the latest Bentleys and private jets. I actually have a case in point. You see, here we have a small town in South Africa where a private company had set up a solar farm. Now, the solar farm was set up for their own purposes. They got permission to do it, but it was generating too much power, and much more power than they were using. So they put some of it back into the grid in the local area, and they actually pretty much got rid of load shedding for that little town. So the power wouldn't be going out during the day because they were able to put so much power back in. But the government actually sued them and prevented them from helping the local town have power during the day, because they said it would set an unrealistic precedent, and other people around the country would want to have the same amount of power during the day, or the same access, and so it's not something that they would allow. So they actually stopped them from doing it. You see, corruption in its pure form, like the ANC government, is something that simply cannot be tackled. You see, it's transparent corruption. Everybody knows the government is corrupt. They know everybody knows that they're corrupt, but nobody can do anything about it. So they just go on being corrupt. They'll sign away new laws. They'll sign new things into parliament. And all of it is in aid of their corruption. South Africa is a joke. It's what I said many years ago. It's what I've always said. There's a reason I left my country of birth.
Guys, this man is from South Africa. He is saying that South Africa is a joke. Josie, I want you guys to hit the link. He's saying that's why he left. Let's hear more.
Reason why I will never go back. Anyone who is a South African knows exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. Even the people that are pro-ANC, they know that it's a corrupt mess of a government. It's a corrupt, useless government. And you know what? There's very little that can actually be done about it, unfortunately. Once again, I'm going to use this opportunity to say, I told you so. So maybe you can start out and explain what it is you disagree with that video.
Well, I think the first one, the big one, is that infrastructure is failing in South Africa. So I don't know if I agree with that.
It is something that's happening. It's a real thing.
Well, the power going out, that's been rectified. In my area, the power does not go out as frequently as it used to.
I told you so. I told you so. To sum up this video, South Africa is in a far worse place.
Guys, do you think this white man is just ranting? He's just hating, seeing that, you know, black people are the ones in charge of South Africa. Do you guys think that's what he's doing? But is he just whining? Because obviously you see the black woman is like, hey, the power would be stable. And most Africans, to be honest, when they hear this type of talk, you know, I'm sure they're gonna come here and be like, no, South Africa is not failing. The white man is just tripping. He's just hating. It's okay for the lights to turn off. I cannot believe that South Africa, you know, even Gambia have stable electricity than them. In fact, I'm open to taking, I'm willing to take in some South African electricity refugees because I love my brothers and sisters from South Africa. Let us let the white man.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. I'll see you guys in the back. I'll give me a minute.
Than it's ever been. On top of the fact that there's no power, there's close to 50% unemployment rate. You know, it's like 48.7 or something like that. There's a huge, I mean, can you imagine half of your population being unemployed? You know what that leads to? When half of the people are lying around out there, just ambling around during the day, trying to find a way to survive, it just leads to crime. There's no other option. What are you going to do? If you want to have clothing, you want to have food, you want to be able to buy something, how do you do it? You need money. You're not going to get money by chewing the grass on the side of the road, are you? You have to go and rob people, steal, rape, kill, murder, maim, all that kind of stuff. That's what happens in South Africa. It's incredibly dangerous to live there. It's incredibly difficult to make a living there because not only do you have to put up with the crime and the constant, for lack of a better word, pestering by the government to try and eke every cent they can out of you because it's a corrupt government that has no money and keeps trying to find ways to get people to pay them more money. You have to deal with that, but you also have to deal with the basic infrastructure going out. So you have power going out, traffic lights not working, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a non-starter. Anyone who's smart or had the means has left already. Everyone who's trapped there, I implore you, if you have the chance, if you have the means, it doesn't matter who you are, what background you're from, get out of South Africa. Seriously, you can go to anywhere else in the world, anywhere in the developing world, and it's better than South Africa right now.
All right. The panel is here. You guys heard what the man said. He said, even the developing world, meaning, you know, Cameroon, Nigeria, you know, so he's saying, leave South Africa. You're better off in Ghana. I mean, we already have some South Africans in Gambia. They've already put in their asylum papers, and we are going to approve. There is no problem. No problem. But I want to welcome the panel in. I see two Niger welcome in the house. Josie Gold, Jude. Why are you dressed like the blacks, man? Like what? You got the Tommy Hilfiger on. You know, Lozi, I want to welcome all of you in the house here. So, let's see. Let's start with Tunaja. He was the first one in here. Tunaja, it's been a while. Welcome to the Afridamus Report. How you been?
Yeah, greetings, Afridamus. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I've been okay. Yeah, I would like to defer to my South African brothers for this one first, since
good.
It's
okay,
a country you're trolling today, so it's all good.
Why are you calling me a troll?
Okay, it's all good. Let them respond then.
All right. So we have Josie Gold here. Josie Gold. Josie, can you hear me? Josie, unmute yourself. Oh man, we don't know if Josie's power went out, but let's check with Lozi. Maybe Lozi's in the Nigerian corner. Josie.
Oh my God, that's not helping, is it?
Hey, I'm in Lagos here. We've got electricity.
In Lagos. Oh, okay. Yeah. We got Josie in for a second. But Josie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So, Josie, you heard what the man said. He's saying that South Africa is a failed state. He said the electricity is unstable. There's corruption. He said it's better to leave South Africa. Pretty much leave South Africa. You can go to Kenya or Ghana. You would even do better. So, what do you say to this? Is South Africa becoming a failed state, according to this man?
Look, of course, I'm not going to agree with him. I personally think that this guy is a white person that's disgruntled because he doesn't like black people very much, especially black South Africans, and he hates the fact that black South Africans have taken over. But let me get straight to the whole electricity crisis thing. Look, there was a time when it was bad, especially when this whole crisis started. There was a time when it was bad, like when it was like 6 to 12 hours a day. But that doesn't happen anymore. Most cases, it goes up in the morning and at night. And then some days you don't have power cuts. Well, that's what happens where I live.
Yeah.
But in most cases, it has been improving. Look, the South African economy is different. It's different in a sense that it's very diverse. So it can't function without electricity. So there has been a huge improvement in the electricity supply because they can't get this wrong. Let me put it in this way. If there's no electricity, the country doesn't work. And if the country doesn't work, well then, the politicians, like he said, some of them are very corrupt. So they won't be able to steal money. So they need the economy to work so they can steal. So even the stealing needs the economy to work. So we're not just dependent on natural resources. And in South Africa's economy,
like what he said, the unemployment is off the roof too. Is he exaggerating? Because I suspected that this might just be a disgruntled white man, because he's saying leave South Africa and go to where? Kenya or Ghana? Like, what's going on?
Look, I like Kenya and Ghana, but personally, I'll stay right here. But yes, unemployment has been high over the years.
Or Nigeria.
Look, God bless all of those countries, but I'll personally stay here.
Okay.
And I think something that people don't take into consideration when they add these stats up is that the unemployment rate in South Africa does not include like the guys selling on the street. If you sell stuff on the street, you're a taxi driver, you're considered unemployed. Other countries don't take that into consideration. So it is high, but you also need to take those factors into consideration. It drops drastically when you add that in. So he does over-exaggerate some things, because if you watch some of that guy's videos, I've actually seen some of his videos over the years.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, he's very negative. He's upset about something that happened when he was in South Africa. Mainly, he tends to have a very anti-Black South African stance. That's unfortunately the reality of it. Look, but I have to be completely honest as well. Like, there have been some things that the ANC's got wrong, like the whole power crisis thing. That's unforgivable, to be honest with you. Yes, it is improving. Yes, they will get it right, but it wasn't supposed to happen. So yeah, but as far as South Africa becoming a failed state, I think right now that's an over exaggeration for me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. So Josie, hold on. We have Lozi. Lozi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Lozi, are you watching? Are you using a generator to watch this show?
Man, we are beyond a failing state.
Okay. Because
and you know what I want to say? Because I've got issues of like even influx of migrants and stuff. Yeah. I think they should start to pack, and those who wanted to come to South Africa, they should reconsider it, because we are technically a failed state, Yeah,
okay. Well, because the thing is, I mean, the crisis, the way the man is explaining it. So it's like, okay, is South Africa becoming a failed state? Because he said you're better off moving to, third world countries.
To Ghana and
are you looking to move to Cameroon?
Well, as brother Josie Gold said, man, I wish all the best for Cameroon, man. I think Cameroonian people are good folks, and they want what's best for their country. But hey, I'm not going there. Look, at the end of the day,
but okay, go ahead.
yeah,
What do you think about what the man said? Do you think he's disgruntled?
I think that guy is a troll, man. Most white South Africans are a troll, but there are those who do tell the truth, who do analyze the situations, who get facts. So I think that guy is a troll and he's getting numbers
But
on YouTube.
what did he get wrong? Can you enlighten us? So
No, not everything. Not everything he got is wrong. Obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, to get to the bottom of it, ESCOM is failing. You know, but what's the cause of it? So there's two sides to it. There's the external part of it where it's failing, and where the problem comes from external part of it, and then there's an internal part of it. One major factor of it is if you Google even now and type ESCOM and how much power they hold in South Africa, they produce 80% of South African electricity. I don't know to today exactly, but 3 years ago, they were powering South Africa. 80% of our energy was coming from ESCOM. Now, ESCOM uses coal to produce probably more than 80% of its own energy to power South Africa. Now there was the globalist and the green energy thing, and then they tried to impose laws on ESCOM to say, you know what, you need to reduce burning coal because there's too much carbon at the moment, and we're going through the so-called global changing and blah blah blah. And then, but that's just another factor of it. It's not entirely the only reason. But they did reduce on burning coal, meaning that has affected the power supply on ESCOM itself. But again, they should ANC, where I blame ANC, they should have already had a plan a long time ago to probably go to replace coal with green energy, building more solar panels, even other alternative source of energy. But they kept ESCOM there because ESCOM generate too much wealth for them as well, as Josie Gold said. They make billions out of that company. ESCOM, I think it's in top 10 of the richest companies in Africa. So you can see what, and it's a state-owned company. So the comrades wanted to keep ESCOM as going as well, and then that's why it's one of the reasons why we in this find ourselves in here. But yes, it used to.
Do you think they are doing it on purpose, or they are just incompetent?
Well, okay, one, I think the comrades are incompetent. They don't really know what they're doing. These guys are not even technical guys. For most part, some of them are not even that educated. So I think there was there's a gap between the people in the old ESCOM is old. It comes from a party. So the guys who used to run ESCOM, the Afrikaners, the white guys,
they were white people. Also, when the white people ran it ran well.
It ran well back in the days. I won't lie. But here's the trick.
I knew it. The white people, they are excellent at this.
No, they go.
I just know it. Because like, think about it. Over here, if my light even is glitchy, I'm getting on the phone and I'm yelling at the white people.
Yeah, they're gonna sort it out. But here's the trick. When the white people ran South Africa, we were only having access to electricity. About 53% or 60% of the country was only having access to electricity. As I speak today, it's about 94%. I mean, it's about 90 or 94% access. But the problem that the comrades did is that they didn't invest much in buying more equipment that will maintain that. As they expanded the energy, they build more infrastructure. That's fine, to even take the energy to the rural areas and everywhere. But they didn't invest much in buying proper equipment as well.
So do they mostly use coal to power most of South Africa?
They still do, but they under pressure because they have to integrate to the green energy. So there's about 20 Chinese companies that came on board this year under the BRICS alignment deals. There's another about 100 watts of electricity that we will be taking from Mozambique, from one of the companies that is owned by Mozambique government and South African government. So there's more, and then there's also we have got the largest solar panels in Africa, even in terms of that. So in terms of green energy, we are still continuing to build another a plant with the government of Saudi Arabia. But here's the thing: South Africa, it's the only newly industrial country on the continent. Meaning, when we started to reduce burning coal, our industry supplies still require more energy to keep the economy going and to keep producing what we produce. Now, that means the industry also, most of our energy goes to the industry, not to the households. And even when you look at the households, South Africans use more energy than any country in Africa. So we use more, the households in South Africa have more access to energy than any house. So it's not that the energy that we're supplying now cannot power our households. The biggest problem is that our energy now that we supply, it's not enough for the industry because the industry is too much for the supply. So there's imbalance between the industry.
Well, that's what the man is saying.
Yeah, the energy that we supply.
Wait. Josie was gonna say something. Add on to what you were saying. Do you mind if he jumps in?
Who, Josie Gold?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he can jump in.
Okay, go ahead, Josie.
Yeah, like I wanted to say that, to add that it's a mixture of both incompetence and a bit of greed at the same time. I think a lot of these people, especially the politicians, with them, because if you look at the power supply, when I speak to a lot of the experts, I even watched an interview on some of these experts, most of them black. Eskom became the best energy company in the world when it was run by black South Africans, which was like in the early 2000s. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
So what happened?
What happened
Do you think Zuma,
now is basically...
Do you think it started with Zuma?
Personally, when Zuma was president, something that he got right is energy, because the electricity was not a problem at all. So the problem started now recently when Cyril took over. I think they got too excited about renewable energy. They didn't actually speak to the experts that are in the country about renewable energy, how it's not suitable to run an economy like South Africa. You need to burn the stuff that they're saying is bad. The coal needs to keep burning, and maybe add a few more nuclear power stations, because we only have one nuclear power station. So that's something that they got wrong. They got too excited about renewable energy. And when I say excited, I mean they thought they were going to make money from renewable energy, which was really dumb. They should have sat down with their people, the consultants that are there, the people that actually know the energy sector, the black South Africans. Well, not just black, but every South African about nuclear energy. And if they actually did that, this problem wouldn't have happened. They just got too greedy and excited, and they just saw an opportunity to just make money out of this, and it just turned out really badly, and it just made them look like idiots. So
yeah, they became West Africa. But let's bring in a West African expert here.
Let me close on one point regarding the black South Africans failing South Africa.
Right.
Look, I don't believe that notion, because if you do a quick research, you will see that under the white people who probably ran South Africa for more than 150 years, our economy at highest, they are looking at the GDP, the production wise, at highest, our GDP only reached 110 billion US dollars. That's the highest our GDP has ever went, before 1994. As the highest GDP we had was 110 billion. When Mandela took over the country, I think our GDP was around 85 billion. But remember, we were also sanctioned as well. But now in 2011, under the leadership of after Thabo Mbeki left, our second black president, our GDP was above 400 billion US dollars. Now that was 17 years after apartheid. Our GDP means
Lozi, can I just correct something?
Okay.
Like before, remember, before 2007, right? Like before 2007, it was actually over 500 billion. It went down when we stopped focusing on natural resources. When the output of natural resources went down, check it. That's when it went down to around 400 and something. So yeah, sorry about that. Continue.
Hold on. Tunaja shared this article. Tunaja, let's ask why he shared it. Tunaja, what did you want to point out in this article? Tunaja, is South Africa becoming a failed state like the man was saying?
Greetings to everyone on the panel, the chat, and to the viewers. Yeah, I think what is going on here is that people may not agree, but I think South Africa trying to exert its own independence is beginning to lead to all these problems now. And if you look at this page, they talked a lot about sabotage in the power sector. And just last week there was destruction of about 21 trucks, food truck carrying trucks in the South Africa. These acts continue, and they talk about these sabotages. It's not the first time. They are trying to lead South Africa, basically like what you are saying. They want to degrade South Africa the way they degraded many other African countries. This is the way it works until you push back. This same kind of action happened to the Soviet Union too. But guess what? The Soviet Union can easily shake it off. After all, they were nuclear power. They can shake it off and get back to where they were. But it happened to the Soviet Union too. So these actions, you can't see them in isolation. It's a whole trend. This what's his name? Ramaphosa has opened his mouth once too many times. You know, during the COVID-19 issue, he was one of those people pushing for Africa to be able to manufacture vaccine, and he succeeded in the end because he brought major African countries together to push, and the Western countries had to cave within a few weeks.
Come on, man. What are you talking about, bro?
Oh,
Hold on.
See, now that I can see you there, I know he's a very young man, so you need to calm down. Calm down before you start talking. I will be forgiving you.
But to Niger, you better watch what you say to Judah. This is a
young man,
American. This is a thug right here that you're watching. You better watch your mouth. What you say, man. Utah is a very gangster place, so you better watch out. But go ahead.
I think
so. Tunaja, do you think South Africa? Do you think the South African black leaders are incompetent and they are failing? They are failing. Yes. They don't know what they are doing.
I would say
this is the same pattern in like West Africa. Like they are operating just like most of the West African leaders.
I don't see whatever game they are playing a serious losing hand. These people think they can just wash their way into a rainbow nation.
Wait, Tunaya, were you trying to blame the white man for this?
No. We are ultimately responsible. Now, what are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
No. Hold on. Make no mistake. Some of the problem they are having is coming from external forces. They have an interest in ensuring that this South Africa that is self-asserting doesn't get out of control. Because you saw how South Africa is talking about even moving to a different currency with the BRICS organization and all the rest of it. This is where all this trouble is coming from. They even accuse South Africa of selling arms to Russia. There's a lot of things going on. Look at a Kenyan president that was mounting off to. Now his country, they are protesting against him. Sudan.
Is Kenya failing too?
Kenya is facing the same problem. He's going to face the same problem. And even just last year, they were already threatening Kenya to put Kenya under the countries that launder money.
So you're sort of blaming the white man.
Of course, if you see, you're not blaming them for our problem, but they are behind some of all those things that is going on. This is not new. Why are we acting as if this is reinvented? When a nation wants to start,
how can you blame the white man when the South Africans themselves even?
I'm not blaming the white man. I'm describing a problem. The person you have to blame is our leaders, our people too. Like our people now, when they are telling them these things, they'll be like, "Oh, you're blaming the white man. You're doing this." No, that is how the world works. If you keep acting as if you're a baby, don't be surprised your nation is wrecked all over the place and you are the people that they treat like trash all over the world. That is what happens. You have to get your acts together and fight for what you need to fight for. No matter, even if they do whatever they are doing now. Iran went into the wilderness for a long time. Watch what happens in the next years coming now. Iran is going to emerge and it's going to be friends with the West, just like India is friends with the West. Do you know India, from what I gathered, India lost over 2,500 top scientists. India, that's supposed to be the ally of the West. They lost over 2,500 top scientists. And recently, they were
2,500 top scientists. India has that many to Niger?
Oh God! See,
come on to Niger. That's you don't think that's been India?
You want me to send you the link? You want me to send you the link? Oh, I'm gonna send you the link. Now, Lozi knows about what we're talking
To
about.
Niger, that's propaganda. To India, come on, man.
Propaganda. Now, let me get you the link so you see what
This
you call propaganda.
is not Indian politics, man. Can I come
yeah,
in?
Jump in, Jude. I didn't know.
If you want to
Jude, I didn't know that Mormons, the Mormons, they have
play
the
the link
gangster
now,
Mormons.
so you see what I mean. See, if African countries hold on,
This is not Indian. This is
when
not.
I see your face, you need to show some respect. Calm down. You're a young man. You need to calm down. See, when I look at when I look at this when people think that the world owes us a living. If you don't get your act together, every single thing you have to protect it. Even your own scientists, you have to protect it.
So wait, Tunaya, so you were saying that the leaders in South Africa, you think the ANC, they're incompetent?
They're incompetent now because they should have been prepared. Many African leaders display this same stupid attitude. They will go and start mounting off. They've not done their homework to keep their country.
Tunaya, is it possible they just also the usual greed, they just don't care?
No, it's not greed. It's just stupidity. And
you don't think greed is involved?
Okay, there's an element of greed in it and in the aspect of it. But in terms of the overarching issue is that, because other people don't have this problem. The overarching issue is that if you want to build your nation, like the way Ramaphosa sounds like somebody that really wants South Africa to emerge and do great things, then why is he not aggressively securing his country before he starts mounting off and inviting?
What do you mean? What do you mean he's not aggressively, protecting his country? What do you mean?
Because he doesn't have enough security in his country to be able to.
What do you mean? Enough security?
I'm telling you, they blew up 21 trucks in one day or so, if I'm not mistaken, that is carrying food, and they call it economic sabotage, but they don't know who did it.
That's even happening here in the United States. Something they said, I don't know what's going on, but they've.
Can I explain that whole truck thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Josie.
Trucks up.
Sorry to interrupt you too, Niger. Look,
I think
the whole
this
truck thing is nothing.
Josie's gonna get in. People have to get on the panel.
Hold on, wait. Let me just clear this. You're just
gonna complain.
Hold on. After this is Jude. Hold on, Josie, go ahead.
Okay. Let me just make this clear.
Josie Gold, wait. I need to say this. Josie Gold, I need to say this before Afri Damas goes.
Say it. Then I'll go after you.
Okay, Afri Damas, today it's about South Africa, right? Allow South Africans to speak more than anyone. So people like Jude, he has to wait when the topic is about Cameroon. We don't come here and be all over the place. So he needs to respect Josie Gold. Allow us to speak on our country.
This is true, Jude. This is true.
Hold your balls, young man. It's not a topic about Cameroon. So respect us, please, man.
Thank you, Lozi. Go ahead,
Okay. Okay, look, the whole truck thing was like some sort of truck protests that were happening in the country, and they started burning trucks. They were pissed about something. Look, it's a deeper issue, but it has nothing to do with like economic sabotage or people being like our countries being attacked or something, some foreign forces. No, it wasn't some foreign forces thing. It was just a protest about jobs. That's all that was about. Like, it's an over-exaggeration by some of these guys. So, like, no, the truck things being burnt down, and it's not really affecting. It's not affecting. Let me just finish, and then you'll talk. It's not affecting any production in this country. It's just too. It's too insignificant to our economy. It's not a big deal.
You heard it.
That's how they degrade your state. You see, I'm in Nigeria. I know this guy doesn't know where his country is heading. Watch what happens. Keep joking around. You will find out soon.
To Niger. So
all right, let's allow Jude. Okay, Jude, is South Africa becoming a failed state like the white man said?
Hi, Afridemos. I mean, you got people on the planet that cannot give room for people to exercise their freedom of speech, man. It's rather unfortunate that you cannot coordinate the panel on, I think too, Niger has to always give room for people to talk. This is not a Nigerian panel, but anything. This is the thing, Afridemos. It's a whole lot of things that are happening on the continent as we speak. Ghanaians chasing out Fulanis from their territory. it has just been brought to my knowledge that the Niger president have absolutely resigned as the president of Niger, and it has been acknowledged that the coup has been successful in Niger Republic. So it's what unfortunate. It's a whole lot of things that are happening on the continent that we as Black Africans, we need to mourn, because ever since the white man left the territory, we have not been able to lift up our head and say we have finally done success on this.
Wait. So are you saying South Africa cannot do it without the whites?
Oh, come on, man. Let me get back to South Africa. South Africa is not only suffering from shortage of electricity, not even at all. They are suffering from shortage of water. Last month, the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, was in Lesotho trying to beg Lesotho to supply water into South Africa, because this is the thing that most people do not know about South Africa. South Africa is drought. Most of South Africans, they are running into some kind of it's a dry land. Like they look, the same South Africa that was chasing out Zimbabwe's and Mozambique's and Lesotho out of their territory, they are the one now running into these countries, begging them to supply electricity and water.
You mean they are already becoming, immigrants, like refugees in those countries?
That tells you that karma is alive. Because at one time I was speaking to this guy on the panel called Lozi. He said there is no way South Africa will be going to these countries, to these, most of the time South Africans call other African countries third world countries. They believe that they have arrived. Even the white man will not even look at these people and say they are even close to a first world. They call Nigerians third world, and even most of these Gambian guys and stuff like this, man. Like, it's really pitiful. I mean, I don't mind what is happening to them, I just want to see that country crumble and goes into ashes.
Wait a minute. Let me read this. Let me read this real quick. This super chat. He said, thank you for the super chat, more fortune. He said, Black women write about Black men on not knowing how to run communities and countries. Thank you for the super chat. Well, somebody's saying he's saying Black men can run countries. So guys, please, hit the like so we can, spread this word. But okay, I see the other speakers too. So after Judah, we'll go to American Rifleman, then KBM and Gue.
I know, but I don't like
Zongo too.
I know, but this is the thing.
Must we allow Mustache there to talk? Maybe
Mustache
should not say anything.
Tunaja, he didn't interrupt you. Let the man use his time. Go.
This is the thing. I don't like talking.
Very nice.
Go ahead, Judah.
You see, I don't like talking for long, right? Because I know that there are other people on the panel that have to talk. But this is the thing, right? You see what is happening on the continent. It tells you that when Africa was colonized, we were far better off under the white man than what it is today. And this is a fact.
Wait, so are you saying South Africa was better off under apartheid?
Of course. I mean, look at the world that South Africa had during the time of apartheid. I mean, this guy was saying that they have gotten more electricity than when it was. Yeah, but of course, the economy during that period was booming. People had jobs. The coal mine people were working. Now Black people have able to turn the country upside down. Look at Nigeria. A few years ago, almost half of Nigeria military flew into Cameroon because they got chased by Boko Haram into Cameroon. You see, it's a failure from everywhere. West Africa all the way to a Black man is a disaster in this world. That's why the white man looks at us.
Judah, you don't believe that, do you?
Oh, come on. I'm not going to go detail, but it's a disgrace being a Black man in the world. I'm telling you for a fact.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You see me on video, right? Because I came purposely to, people say, oh, Judah never show his face. Judah never show his face. He talk a lot of things, but I'm saying I'm a nice guy, handsome guy, and the girls on the panel, they acknowledge it.
All right. Thank you very much, Judah. Let's go to American Rifleman. Go ahead, American Rifleman. Is South Africa a failed state, like the white man said? And do you agree with what Judah is saying? What's your take?
Wow, hard act to follow. Thank you, Aphrodamus, for having me on. In short, I'm gonna kind of go differently. Say it's not a failed state yet,
You
because
use the word yet.
yes, because they got 5 to 10 years before it's over. What happened? I think it was last year. Thank you, Jude. Have fun in Utah. You know, as a fellow black man in a mostly white state, you know, we need to just get along. You know, we doing the same thing, so relax there, buddy. Anyway, um, South Africa has 5 to 10 years. If they don't get those two critical things right, is the water and the energy in
Can you
place.
elaborate? Can you elaborate?
Yeah. Um, it's very simple. People are already working on the water stuff right now, but it just seems that people love rewarding the ANC for failure over and over and over and over again. And me and Lozy have talked on other panels and all that, and I respect Josie and Lozy. You know, they're pretty intelligent guys, but it just seems that Lozy at times, I don't know if he's like very close to the ANC, or his position in South Africa is just kind of upper crusty or something, to where he has a bit of more optimism. I'm just gonna say, you know, it's just like chaotic truth and his like Steven Pinker BS, like this is the greatest time to be alive and all this other stuff. He kind of gives me those vibes. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm gonna say is, if they don't get desalinization plants going and other things, and get obviously, and to do desalinization, you need massive amounts of energy.
Wait. Are you saying they are failing according to, like, do you believe what the white guy was saying? He said the politicians are incompetent. He said the unemployment rate is through the roof. Energy.
The youth employment rate alone is that their numbers, just youth employment rate sinks most countries. So they're already underwater there. But good, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so the unemployment rate. So you are adding all these factors to say, so I mean, that's pretty bold. You say 5 years tops?
5 to 10. I'm willing to give them an extra 5 years on top of the 5, but it's just like, if they don't change, like literally make ANC pay for their malfeasance and also their incompetence, their mismanagement. Because most of this, like Tunija is talking about Ninja Blats, you know, sabotaging everything, right. And
you don't believe what he said.
I'm not gonna say none of it's happening, but he's the type of black that likes to over exaggerate the white man's influence and, you know, their outcomes and all that stuff.
So you think he's doing the black thing? In this
no
accountability.
He booty claps for Black Americans so much. I think you know this, Aphrodamus. So right, you know, and it is what it is. Like there's and there's one thing I've learned in the last few months is, like, Africans will come out the woodwork because they don't know America at all, right, or very well, and they will cape because of propaganda mostly. So anyway, so to keep the long story short, they don't have imagination, and they won't make the ANC pay for its incompetence. Most of this is mismanagement. That's all it is. It's nothing. No external forces and all this other stuff. Man, the white man had to end with the international community for your black asses. Okay, so like all this other stuff, it shouldn't be a problem. You are big on the international community, so. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just keep it there.
All right. Let's bring in KBM. KBM, go ahead. KBM, is South Africa becoming a failed state?
Why don't you share some of the information?
Hold on, Tunaya. Hold on, Tunaya. You see, even the South Africans are here. You know, they are listening to all this.
You are trying to cover it up.
Hold on. Give everyone Tunaya. Why? Please don't take other people's time. We still have, you know, Zongo here, where they haven't said a word. Allowed KBM, he hasn't said a word. Don't try to take the white man's time from him. Go ahead, KBM.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me on. I'm a little sick right now, so I ain't got much to contribute. But when it comes to Kenya, Tunija, don't interrupt. When it comes to Kenya, right now we are facing an inflation crisis because of the president himself. Second day last year when he was inaugurated, second day last year, he raised the fuel prices so high, and it hasn't come down at all to where, basic commodities are so high that the average Kenyan cannot even afford to eat but once a day. And some Kenyans can't even afford to eat but once every other day. So it's that bad right now. All the
Wow, are the
demonstrations.
Kenyans looking into farming?
They do farming, but that's not the majority of the population that's farming. I mean, you have a city of Nairobi that's estimated to have 5 or 6 million people, depending on what census poll that you check with. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The power in Kenya has improved. In 2006, it used to go off all the time, not as much as in Nigeria, but
But
pretty damn
what's your
close.
thoughts on South Africa?
Well, I came in late at 57 minutes, so just hearing the gentleman speaking, I could either say he's telling the truth or he's a troll, one of the two. But the thing is, we've already got the confirmation from Lozy and Josie that things are not as bad as he's claiming it to be.
But what do you think about what Judah said?
No, I think you just got to have the right people. I agree with a lot what Judah says a lot of times, but I don't agree on this. But we like in Kenya right now, Ruto is the inflation president. Some people are calling him, to where we're having demonstrations.
Well, we have inflation in America too,
but I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. In the last month, I've had to pay out extra money for security guards in our building. Everybody basically did who's got a shop. To go ahead and get more security. So when people are getting shot at by the police, which are the demonstrators, some are going to turn rogue and they're going to come in and try to break into your stores.
Well, it sounds like Kenya is out for the South Africans. Let's go to Gwe. I see. Oh, Zongo and Gwe. Who is Zongo? Zongo, I want to reserve you for Judah in a minute. I want you to cool off. Let's bring in Gwe.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
I am doing well. Gwe.
Hey, American Raffle Man.
Gwe, is South Africa becoming a failed state under black monopoly rule? Is that what is it's like blacks incompetent?
It looked like it's going there. That's what it looked like.
But what do you think about the video that I shared, what the man was saying?
But some of the things that were happening, I was in and out. So
well, he's saying they don't even have stable electricity during the day. But
yeah, and he was right about that. I mean, I don't think they have like the way the country used to be before. When South Africa was South Africa, it don't seem like it's like that anymore. Not even gender led, but the crime rate in that country, that is massive too. And South Africa is considered a first world country.
Right.
So it's not supposed to be like third world countries in Africa.
South Africa is not a first world country, it's a third world country. It's not a first world.
Judah, hold on. Judah, you have your turn. Just wait. Go ahead.
Yes, in Africa, South Africa used to be considered a first world country. Within Africa, yes. Because growing up, we heard a lot about the people who went to are much younger then, but people who used to travel there and go there, it was so much better than what it is now.
Do you think it's becoming Detroit and Philly, Detroit, or it's past those?
It's getting there. I know Detroit for sure because I used to live in Michigan. So it seemed like when it comes to the crime rate, it's getting there. My brother was just there this summer, like a month ago. And I mean, there were certain places that, the cab driver told him, I can't take you. You can't go there because it's very dangerous, and it's not safe. And it was in the same place that they ended up killing Lucky Dube. So, like it's very easy. That's the thing about Africans. I don't that try to rub me the wrong way.
Hold on, go ahead. Do you think the South Africans, Lozy and Josie, do you think they are telling us the truth or they just saving face?
I think they are saving face. And I said that because like in Africa, people will know, or maybe either they're benefiting from the government. That's another one, Because when people are enjoying from the government that's in power, they tend to not see the problem that that government is creating in the country. They tend to want to big up the government and say things that would make the government look good. But Africa itself has to deal with the corruption. It has nothing to do with other entities around the world. Yeah, those people play part, but the part in those things are very little compared to the part that African leaders then play in the suffering of their own people or the corruption of their own countries and the deterioration of the country. But a lot of the times African will play blind eye and want to point a finger at other people and say, oh, the white man this, the white man that. The white man is not the one telling you to suffer your own people, keep them in darkness, have no food for them to eat, but meanwhile your kids is going to school in America, your kids is going to school in Europe, but the rest of the other people that live in the country, their kids are suffering. Their kids can have to go sell market on their head just to be able to help the mom provide food for the day for them to eat. So I think a lot of times it's easy for us to point the finger at other people because then they think it take the blame off of them. So they like to sell that to Africans and create this narrative that the white man is the reason why Africa is so poor, when it's African leaders that are keeping Africa poor and the people that we elect into the country.
But the South Africans, they have like a like a better standing as far as finances, their economy, right? Because like, for example, like you're from Liberia, like I grew up at, close to the Liberian border there, and we experience pretty much similar things, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at South Africa, and like you said before, it's like the spot, like you're saying. So when I hear that it's failed state, I'm like, no, wait a minute, how are they failing?
Because of leadership. Leadership is.
You think they are becoming West Africa?
There is the leadership in it. They will go there if they don't change things. And another thing that I think that's giving them problem is that the fact that they have this division in the country too. There's white people in the country and there's black people in the country. Instead of them working together as South Africans, they keep separating themselves as two different groups, and that causes problem within the country because one group won the country and the other group won the country. So if you want your people to be in leadership and you don't want the other person group to be in leadership, what if that other person from that group is good at, finance or good at something else to help benefit?
Wait, do you think blacks are good with money?
No. Don't give them no money. Don't do that. Don't do that. They will kill. They will corrupt. Don't give them money. I mean, you need blacks that are just maybe wired a different way. But so far in Africa, for us to see, African leadership around Africa as a continent is just horrible. It's just one country in Africa on that continent that is doing good when it comes to money spending and taking care of their own people.
Who would be that? Who would that be? Because like I totally understand where you're coming from. Like I said, you and I came from the same regions.
Yeah.
Yes, we have we do not trust them with money.
The government, no, you don't do that. It is, and it's a bad thing because they tell you the same thing in Liberia, right? They'll be like, oh, the white people are doing this, the white people are doing that. But I think that when you don't come outside of the country or when you don't travel to the West and see the difference in government, not to say that other countries are not corrupt, but it's the way they go about the corruption, I think in Africa, they just like to just drain, let people dry, suck them down to the ground, and don't really care for them, but then wants to blame other people for their problems when they know that they're the one creating the problem in Africa. The leadership will money Africa. To tell you how idiotic they are, they will be complaining about the white man this, the white man that. But then they'll take all the money that they have stole from the country and go put it in a white bank in some other country that when they die, that money stays there and don't go back to the country. It is very idiotic, and I think that Africans need to stop the blaming and hold the people that are in power accountable for the bad choices and decisions that are making in those countries.
Thank you, Gwe. Thank you. I think Loz, you were gonna say respond to something real quick.
You know,
Can I speak after?
Listening to all these weirdos here speak right about my country, it's very interesting. You know, I'm observing something here.
You've never said anything about America, right, Lozy?
Hold on. Because guys, I'm just giving you a quick second because Zongo didn't speak yet. Yeah.
All right. American rifle. I guess even Afridamas can agree with this. You guys have been in this panel for far too long. Do you often see South Africans calling in and speaking with authority on other countries? Like, if I'm not that informed about Liberia or Cameroon, most South Africans don't call in, and that's one thing I give credit to my people. They don't impose themselves on the business of other people, especially when they're not well informed.
But Lozy, do a lot of South Africans, do they live outside? Do they travel?
No, they travel. They just don't migrate in numbers. They
right.
do
migrate. So most other Africans, right, who have migrated and interacted with a bunch of different people, just like in America, like lots of research. So generally, so you get like an idea.
But,
you know,
but they've got twisted ideas, because remember, first of all, Afridamas, there's a reason why they tend to migrate and leave their countries on average more than us South Africans, right? So there's traveling and there's migration. These are not two things. Most Africans, they don't travel, they migrate, and with one-way tickets, sometimes to not even come back. So let's not make a mistake.
Lozy, I had a one-way ticket to America.
So you agree with me,
I had a one-way. Lozy, I tried to buy two-way. They said no, Afridamus for you, one-way ticket. I didn't ask for it. The white people gave it to me.
Can I just add this quickly?
Yeah.
Look, I live in Gauteng, the part of the country that gets water from Lesotho. Basically, Gauteng is basically what Johannesburg is. And over here in Johannesburg, we obviously have a lot more people than other parts of the country, but we're also the smallest region or province in the country. So
you guys are not begging. Water. Are you guys begging for water?
No, we're buying water from Lesotho. There's a difference.
So you're helping them.
Yes. Well, we technically help each other. We need water.
Yeah, they need money.
We need water. Yeah, we need water. They need money. It's a proper exchange. There's a difference. No, that's something that some people don't understand. There's a difference between the two. And another thing, we never denied that there are problems. We never denied that there's a power crisis, and it did get bad at one point. We don't deny it. And both me and Loz acknowledge that it's the politicians. They're the main reason why it happened. We just said, hey, it's a bit over exaggerated when he said, he over exaggerated a lot on it. So at one point it was bad, and then it's improved. Where for me, basically where I live, normally it's 2 hours in the morning and maybe at night, and then some days it doesn't happen. So there has been an improvement. So and it's gonna take a while, and we did acknowledge that the politicians' greed and mismanagement, and of course not having foresight. They just saw the zeros and the numbers.
Hold on, Lozy. I will, Josie. I will come back to you. Let's have Zongo. Zongo, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Zongo. Yes. Before you get into the South Africa one, because I did the news about Ghana. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Zongo, before I did the news, we talked about Ghana. Zongo, why is Ghana discriminating against Burkinabe refugees? You guys went and got your entire army and your immigration, hunting these people down. What is going on? And you guys are inviting the blacks over and the Jamaicans. What? Don't you think you should extend a hand to your neighbors that are getting shot at? But instead, what do? You're labeling them illegal immigrants. Can you explain what is going on in Ghana?
Hey, Afridamas. I don't think the Ghanaian government is trying to label them as illegal immigrants. The Ghanaian government also have their version of the Secret Service, right? And they do believe that they are setting Boko Haram groups within neighboring West African countries. So I think one of the steps they took was to make sure that those insurgency groups
You
are
know,
using the
Zongo,
opportunity
tell
to
the
come into
truth.
the country, right?
Zongo, is there like a, did the blacks get together and write a secret letter to Ghanaian president and say, we don't trust these people coming across the border from Burkina Faso? Is that a possibility?
I mean, if I can also, on the other hand, Afidamas, there could be a political twist to that as well. You know, the reason is the incumbent government. Uh, Most of like the migrants that come from the neighboring countries in Ghana, they vote for the opposition party. I mean, my family, we don't like this incumbent president because they don't make a lot of people feel like belonging to the society. And I think one of the ways they do is just to make sure that they don't have migrants like trooping in so they can vote for the opposition parties. I mean, it's one of the reasons. And like Judah has been saying,
You're trying to make it political, man. Stop making it political. What is happening? Chasing out your own people out of Ghana? Come on, bro. Come on, man.
No African society do not understand democracy like America does, right? In America, you can get born over here and you become an American citizen. In Africa, regardless whether you are born in Ghana, they still want to ask you where do you come from. My elder brother was born and raised in Ghana because he had a name Toure attached to him. They thought he was from Ivory Coast.
Gambia, or Ivory Coast, or Senegambia.
Yeah, exactly, and
Mali.
they didn't give him his passport. My mom has to come to attest that no, that's my kid.
But
Even though it was
Zongo, let me ask you, Zongo, you from West Africa? You heard South Africa. You know, is
Yes.
South Africa a failed state like the white man say? And also, if you look at it, they're having electricity crisis, and you know, the man say leave South Africa. So because Ghana lately, you guys have been hostile, bringing your army out. Are you guys open to taking in some electricity migrants from South Africa? Is South Africa a failed state according to the man? You've heard other speakers. What is your take?
Well, Afidamas, like I've been saying, having a robust sector or an industry is the backbone of a functioning industrialized society, right?
Right.
And the power sector is obviously part of it. I mean, there's a lot of things that we take for granted, and I also wanted to touch a little bit about what Tunaja was saying, right? There are various ways of generating power. We have solar power, wind power, fossil fuel. We have the geothermal, and then I think we also have renewable energy, right? So I mean, in the fossil fuel, we have coal, natural gas, and oil, right? So
Right.
I mean, if the South African government, like Tunaja, let's assume that his claims that he's making on South Africa is true. I mean, if you know
Which claim? You talking about the white part?
yes, yeah, the external powers, right? If
Yeah.
you claim that you want to, form an alliance with BRICS and something like that, right? And then maybe your natural gas, you don't produce your own natural gas. You get it from external sources. The turbines that you use to generate the power, the human power, do not come from your own people. They come from elsewhere, right? And the grid and the most of the utility sectors that are responsible for generating the electricity and distributing to the consumers come from elsewhere. Why would you want to put yourself in that risky situation? Why would you want to blame the white powers when you know that the human capital does not necessarily come from your own people, right? As far as like the equipment that is like the boilers, the turbines that they use to generate these powers do not come from your country, right? So I think his argument is just bogus. It doesn't necessarily make sense.
So you disagree with Tunaja?
Yeah, I disagree
obviously.
with him.
So
I
what
mean,
do you think about? Do you think Lozi and Josie, are downplaying it, or is the white man, exaggerating it? Do you see South Africa becoming like West Africa?
I think they were making an honest. They gave an honest perspective about what is going on. I mean,
Right.
South Africa, like years back, it's not the same. You're like it's 20 years. There's a lot of population growth because usually when there's a blackout, some of the reasons that causes the blackout could be human error or maybe overload on the grid, right? So if you don't have increase in power generation output to kind of like to complement the rising consumption of the electricity is going to cause that problem.
So,
Like what?
so Zongo, what do you think
Yeah.
about what Jude and Gue said about an American rifleman, because they are the ones on the, agreement that they believe it's, yes, American riflemen went as far as saying 5 to 10 years, South Africa will be, pretty much failed state.
If they don't change. If they don't change.
Yes, if they
I
don't
think
change.
a lot of them do not understand how the power sector operates, and they clearly lack understanding about how the power sector operates, and they do not know what they're really talking about.
Like,
Right?
what do you mean?
I mean, in America, we did have power outage in 2021 in Texas. It was primarily due to frozen conditions in the
Yeah, but
pipelines,
that
right?
was just
You
that
cannot be
wasn't
comparing what happened
yeah
in Texas to what
that
happened. Come
wasn't
on,
over
come
a
on, Nikki.
period of time.
Come on, Zongo.
Something
What the
actually
hell?
happened, like the freeze. And
Bro,
Supergirl, hold on, Supergirl, thank you for the super chat. She said this is all-star panel right here. Thank you all for your contributions. Thank you, Supergirl. Go ahead, Zongo.
I mean, Afrodamas, I'm just citing an example. Even in spring, it probably, because the thing is, we didn't
Because
ask South
that's
Africans
like an
what is the
incident that happened and it was fixed.
okay, Afrodamas, because the question is, because Lozy made a point that a lot of us, not necessarily you, but I mean, some of the panelists are speaking on the cause of the problems, right? So I think the best thing to do is to ask the South Africans what is really the cause of these problems, because it could be due to natural disasters, could cause
Well, speaking of asking the
human
South
error. It
Africans,
could be maybe the rising population or the rising consumption rate of electricity, which means they need to extend the generation of power in order to complement the rising consumption rate of electricity. I mean, it's going to take time. In Ghana in 2017, or was it in 2007? We did experience that in the past. But, Mahama, the then president at that time, had to increase the output of the electricity that was being produced at that time in order to complement the rising doomsday problem in Ghana. I mean, I think South Africans, they know, like, the power sector is the backbone of any industrialized nation, and they know what the right things to do just to get things right. I mean, it's going to take time, but I don't think it's a failed state. I mean, they are far from just heading towards a failed state direction. That's what I think personally.
all right, let's bring in Rads from South Africa.
Because I work in this sector, actually. I mean,
Rads, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I was hoping you would call in today, Rads.
Yeah,
and you
thank you
did.
so much for inviting me in. Great
No
topic as
problem.
always. When
Rads,
I saw South Africa, I just had to
call in.
participate. Yeah.
Yes, Rats. Do you think South Africa is becoming a failed state? If, like, is the black people turning South Africa into a failed state? Because we talked about, electricity. There was a video that I featured. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think about what he said, and also a couple of the speakers like Jude and American Rifleman? They are, and Gue. They said, yeah, of course it's failing. To Niger, he also had his opinion. Let's hear from you. And you've heard your fellow South Africans.
Yes. So, obviously, I am a bit subjective, and I do want to defend my country. South Africa is not a failed state. Yes, we do have our issues, but we are better than we were, based on where we come from. People say that South Africa was better run under white people.
Yeah, that's what Judah said. What do you think about that? Yeah. Because for me, I disagree. Because did you hear me give the background? I grew up seeing South Africans fighting to be free, right?
Yes.
So for me, when they said it's failed, I compared to that time. So I'm glad you brought that up. But what do you think about was it better under the white man, or despite the unstable electricity and all these factors? Is it a failed state, or is this just a moment in time?
Well, my opinion is, on paper, when you read the bottom line, South Africa was functioning better under apartheid. Right. But when you take in the context how they managed to achieve that, they did that by suppressing and denying black people opportunities. So what they would do is that they would limit resources to themselves. and group black people for certain jobs, and everything was just so unfair. And based on that, they managed to to run the country. I know a lot of people, for instance, my parents, a lot of black people had limited career options. You could only be a nurse or a teacher. You couldn't be any other field. And also, with regards to the energy crisis, only the affluent white suburbs were the ones that had constant electricity, whereas black people were always left to fend for themselves. It's not the case with all townships, but for the most part, black people didn't have electricity like that under apartheid. And now because our country changed and we are in democracy and all of us are equal under the law, the government was forced to provide electricity to everyone, and that's what's causing issues.
Okay, this makes sense. So you're saying back in the days it was just limited because they didn't have to provide electricity to the black people. So now there's a government because the majority is black area.
Yes.
So to provide electricity for all this, it's a larger population.
Yes, it's a much larger population and everybody's fighting for resources. Whereas before, resources were limited to a specific group of people. And because of that, everything was much more organized with the help of the South African military. Instead.
Okay.
So in other words, let's take, for instance, the mining sector, right? That's where black people, that's the mining. Black people are basically the backbone of the mining sector. The same goes for the agricultural sector, and those were the only occupations that black people were allowed to work in. Black people weren't allowed in banking. Black people weren't, allowed
But
to
that was
work
good.
in.
That was good then, because at least they knew what they were doing in that field. You cannot give a black man to be a banker. They don't know nothing about it. That's why everything is crumbling.
Judah, are you saying black people don't know how to bank?
Of course, man. That's why the black presidents don't know nothing about
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Please,
Hold on, guys. Let Rats finish. Go ahead, Rats.
Yes. I get Judah's perspective, and his delivery is kind of offensive. But I think what he's trying to say is that the banking industry we black people entered the banking industry when it was already established. So basically, we had to start from ground up.
From the bottom.
Yes. So white people with their knowledge of how the banking industry works, the same goes for agriculture, the same goes for all these other industries, are far advanced than us. It has nothing to do with the fact that we black people are dumb or incompetent. It's just that there are some things that are learned through generations of past knowledge.
Right.
So for him to call us, for him to insult us and call us dumb and all these things, I really don't think it's fair.
Well, he's black himself.
Yeah,
he's black himself. So
yes.
All right. Let's throw it back. So Lozi and actually, let's go to Josie. Josie was gonna say something. Hold on, American Rifleman.
Look. Wait, hold on.
Mine now is spectator.
Hold on.
You want me to interject before you come?
Wait, hold on.
Tunaja. You will speak to
You're not South African. Look, Alpha Thomas. Look, guys, listen. When Radio was talking, he didn't interrupt people like he was here for a long time, and Judah keeps interrupting people. Judah, would you stop interrupting people? That's the thing that really got me riled up early on when Radio was talking. Look, here's the deal here. Not once do we disagree with like some of the bad things that happen in South Africa. Look, there's a lot of truth in them. Like as far as the power crisis, look, that is a reality. But is it over exaggerated? Yes. The water thing that some of these people are talking about, is it over exaggerated? Yes, to a certain extent. Does that mean that that we don't have problems? Look, those things are there.
Right.
But the water crisis that was happening in Gauteng, mainly because why we had to buy, like, let's say, water from the Sotos, because Gauteng is densely populated. It's the smallest province, but it has the most people of any province, and it supports people from many parts of South Africa, and of
Like
course
it's
people
densely,
from the rest of the continent.
like
Like it
densely
has a lot of
populated.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in this province. That's one of the reasons why it has that water shortage that it has. It's not supposed to have as many people as it has. I know this because I've lived here my whole life, especially here in Johannesburg. Like, please, someone like mic is open.
Yeah, somebody, guys, close your mics.
Oh, can I?
Hold on. You were gonna say something? Go ahead, American. Yeah.
What? You cutting me?
Go ahead.
Look, like the densely population thing. So and there's another thing about the whole crime thing. Look, crime has always been an issue, but like the lady that was talking earlier on, Lucky Dube was shot in Florida. Florida is a dangerous neighborhood. Like many other cities, Johannesburg, because I know this because I come from here. Johannesburg has parts that are dangerous. Florida is one of those places. Florida, where Lucky Dube was shot, is known for being dangerous.
Hold on, Florida. You guys have a place there called Florida?
Yeah, it's a neighborhood called Florida. It's an old neighborhood. It used to be like an old white suburb back in the day, and now it's deteriorated over time.
Okay.
So Florida, and then there was I was on another panel where a Haitian American guy said he was in Yeovil and he was complaining that he got robbed in Yeovil. And as someone from Johannesburg, the first thing that comes into my mind is that what is a tourist doing in Yeovil? Yeovil
so that's like a bad place?
Yes.
Can I interrupt you?
So like,
just because, can I add something there?
Go ahead.
No, let me just add this because it's important to when he mentioned Lucky Dube. Lucky Dube was killed by 2 Zimbabweans who were working with 1 South African. They are serving in prison now as we speak. One was interviewed.
Come on, you don't blame it on the Zimbabweans. Come on, man. What the heck is wrong with this guy, man?
Jude, allow him. You're gonna have your point, Jude. Let him say.
You see, Africa, some of our crimes are imported in our country, but they don't want us to say the truth because it doesn't work for what their advantage. So, like you do, is true. You can Google this. It was not 2 Zimbabweans. It was Mozambicans. I make a mistake.
What's his name?
Not Zimbabwean. I don't. I think Lucky Dube. If you, it was.
Lucky Dube.
Yeah,
so I remember when Lucky Dube got killed. Okay, so he wasn't killed by a South African.
No, he wasn't killed by a South African. There's interviews all over about the people who killed him. Interviewing the people who killed him, even their names and surname. They had 1 South African they worked with him, but the one who pulled the trigger is not a South African.
Okay.
So it was.
So let me ask this question: is all the crimes that are being committed in South Africa
that's a stupid question. That's a stupid question.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
They always blame it on immigrants, foreigners, call Africans foreigners. That's what it is.
Judah, be quiet. Let him finish.
This is our reality, Africa. South Africa is home to largest migrants in Africa. Of course, we will have that element of imported crime. Why don't they want us to say this? Why do they want to always have negative on black South Africans? But when we tell them the other side, they are defensive. Why? Why is it so? Josie Gold, just continue there, bro.
Yeah, look. Some of the crime hotspots that are there are some. Look, that is a reality. So, like, you need to watch where you go when you're in Johannesburg. Like some neighborhoods are just bad. That is just the reality. So, yeah, that's about it. That's what I wanted to say.
All right, let's bring in Tunaija. Oh, hold on. Sorry, Tunaija. Just give American Rifleman a quick second. You're cutting into Tunaija's time. Go ahead, American Rifleman.
For one, Tunaija takes up all the damn time anyway, so I don't even want to hear that.
Exactly.
Well, Jude, you do the same damn thing. So anyway, and I ramble on sometimes too. Anyway, I want to clarify my position to make sure nobody misconstrued what I said because I only spoke once. I do not agree that South Africa. Nobody asked me the question. I do not agree that South Africa was better under apartheid and all that stuff. So don't ever.
No, Judah said that.
I get it, but you know how. But you already know I have a bad reputation, so I already want to because people already have that in their head. So I want to just clarify that. And the last thing I'll say, and I'm just going to jump off the panel so Jude and Tunaija can be disruptive. look, just focus on three simple things: your energy, obviously defend your facilities just like they defend them. Please stop talking. Just like they defend them in America, our power plants, you go on site in those places, they will shoot you on site. Okay. They have ex-army guys and all types of nasty, heavily armed people ready to take people on if you even think about taking on our energy infrastructure. That's why people go for transformers and stuff like that. So, and then the other thing, the water thing, y'all got to have imagination. I don't know, and I'm not trying to speak for Lozy and Josie, and shout out to Rads as well. These are very intelligent men, very productive men of South Africa, very great representatives of South Africa. But one thing is just like I will say is desalinization plants. Obviously, you need a lot of energy for those, but you guys need water even more. Obviously, I'm not a big expert in South African water management and all that, but it's just like there's something you guys can do, because it just seems that you guys got 1,000,001 problems, and unfortunately, you guys aren't in the position you used to be, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll try not to ramble on, but yeah, if they don't change these few. Oh, actually, last thing I'll say, you got to get your immigration under control, because the South African people do deserve justice in that regard. Y'all got too many of those other Africans running over y'all damn border, just like America, and we're turning into a failed state right now. We're having electrical problems. We're having all these problems.
So you saying get rid of the Nigerians?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying large concentrations of people that should not be there, and especially if they're not productive.
The Zimbabwean.
I'm just putting just my opinion. If they are unproductive people or criminals or something, there's large concentrations, you can send quite a few of them back. If people are actually
are you suggesting them build a wall?
Look, all I'm saying is there's a difference between like migrants that are running a shop, adding to the economy, or they're buying and selling and they're interacting with the South African economy. That I think that's a net benefit. But if it's just some drunk on the street committing crimes or just sitting about just doing nothing, get them out of there. Get them in with no remorse.
Yeah, but are those immigrants or those are the South Africans themselves? Which one do you think it is?
But say that again.
Who is doing the drunk and just chilling around? Is it the South?
Well, I mean, obviously South, but that's their privilege to do that. That's their country, so they get to do whatever they want.
Okay.
But
I just want to understand, what you're saying. But let's go to Niger real quick. Niger, I want to ask you this. Niger, can you hear me, Niger?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, Niger, I wanted to ask you this before you get into the South Africa thing again, because I highlighted it here. I don't know. You've heard about the coup in Niger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I wanted you to touch on this. I've played the video here. Why is Ghana deploying their military and immigration to kick out the Burkinabe refugees? Do you think Ghana is, protecting its border, or they are being anti-Pan-African? Like, what's going on?
For one, Burkina Faso is not at war that we know of, and
well, they have the jihadists.
Exactly.
So does Nigeria. You don't see them running to Nigeria.
Well, Nigerians are running out too,
but not as refugees to Ghana. They are coming to Ghana as a kind of economic migrants, and I do understand why the Ghanaians are doing it. It's out of fear, because Ghana generally security posture is extremely weak, and they don't want the kind of problems that are happening in other countries to drift into their own country. That's why they are doing it, basically out of fear. And because everywhere the Fulanis go, generally conflict follows. In West Africa, that's what we've seen so far. That's why they are doing it. There's no other reason behind it. And they are not sending them to a country. They will just throw them in the hands of jihadis to go and kill them. They send them to the border, hand them over.
They are running out of their own country. It means something is happening in their country. Why send them back?
Can I just finish what I'm saying? They send them out to the border and to their own country, hand them over to their own officials, and it's up to the government of that country to deal with them as they see fit. I'm telling you from the point of view of the Ghanaians, we are in Nigeria. I have seen what is going on in Nigeria too. So, and in Mali, the same problem is occurring in many West African countries. So Ghana is just trying to forestall. You saw the Ghanaian president in the U.S. African Summit where he was basically crying to the Secretary of State of America that, oh, look at the...
He was crying?
Yeah, he's not crying. I would say basically crying. He was complaining to the
Well,
Secretary of State
I
of
just
America.
want to clarify.
He was complaining to the Secretary of State of America.
Man,
Judah, stop interrupting him.
Let me go after
Judah, hold on. Judah, after him is Lozi. He hasn't said anything, and then it would come to you.
Spoken. Come on, man. Let me after him. Let me.
Hold on, Judah. Judah, don't argue with the host. Come on, man. You've been interrupting everyone. Relax. Go ahead, Tunaja.
So he basically complained to the Secretary of State of the United States that the Wagner Group is moving into Burkina Faso and what publicly complaining, and African countries doing what they do best. So that is what you get. These people are scared and they are incompetent. They are useless leaders.
Wait, you think Ghana is are the leaders, are they competent in Ghana?
Most African leaders are compromised. The only leaders you can accuse of not necessarily being compromised right now is a president like Ramaphosa, and maybe the...
Wait, Ramaphosa, you just heard, what...
No, leave South Africa. South Africa don't have a... You see, some of all these young people, they don't have a clue what is going on. They just think they know. They don't have...
Okay, so let's go to South Africa. What do you think about, so far what the speakers have said? You've heard what Josie said, Lozi,
many of our young people, if this young generation carry on with the way they are carrying on, I'm telling you, our fate is doomed. We are completely...
Like, what do you mean?
They are so lured by the comforts and the narrative that has been woven in front of them, and they fall for it repeated. They don't know what the true world represents.
Okay, can you elaborate?
It's a joke.
Can you elaborate?
When I gave links there, if anybody is wise enough, let them check those links. Nobody.
Those links tonight, I'm not gonna open them. Some of them they got like wanted me to click on some cookies and a lot of things popping up.
There's no cookies.
Well, I'm looking at it. I'm not gonna hit that on this
There's YouTube
machine.
one there. There's YouTube one about it.
So, but what do you want to show? Look, we don't want to talk about Indians. We want to talk about South Africa. Leave the Indians. We'll do that another day.
I'm in Nigeria. I know what happens to a nation.
Okay, you said South Africans don't know. Can you explain to them, what a failing state would look like since you're from Nigeria?
So we have 4 refineries. None of them are working. We've been trying to get our power supply going. None of them have managed to. I've had good politicians, bad politicians hold power supply office, and they cannot.
But do you think South Africa would ever be like Nigeria?
They are heading there. If this kind of naivety I hear from some of them is anything to go by, they will get there before they know it. And this is the thing. And in a way, I'm not that far from where Judah is. Black men are proving themselves to be the most useless men on the face of the earth in the last 400 years. And they sit around wanting to party around. And you know what they say? Oh, I'm blaming other people. When somebody is calling out a problem, that is not blaming them. Blame is when the people you hold accountable. I'm not holding Europeans accountable. They are doing what they are supposed to do. They are caring for their own people. Would you begrudge a good mother for caring for her children? They are doing what they are supposed to do. Us is what I'm blaming. Where if there's any blame to be assigned, we are responsible for ourselves, and we are not doing it. And this idea that some people just come, oh, you are blaming foreigners, it's just stupid. It's just really stupid. It's a secular effect. If you have a house and somebody is setting fire to it and somebody is describing a problem, suddenly, oh, you're blaming the person burning the house. What kind of rubbish talk is that?
Okay, but Tunaja, hold on, Tunaja, but we have South Africans here on the, you've heard them, like none of them have even blamed the white people even for once. And also, Tunaja, let me ask you this. Judah said South Africa was much better when they had apartheid, when the white people were in charge. What do you say to that?
They don't understand things on a macro level. All these people they see is what is in front of their nose. They can't even be...
No. What do you think about that statement that Judah made?
So Judah is making this controversial statement. It is a concept now. You can say maybe it's better empirically under the Europeans, but you can also argue that better to be a slave and if this is better to be a poor man and a free man than to be a slave in a castle. So it's your pick your this thing. The truth is that most nations go into wilderness, in a kind of wilderness, before they emerge and become powerful and prosperous. The Chinese did it. The Indians did it. The Iranians are going to emerge soon. Just watch. The North Koreans will emerge, and they will be ahead of most African countries, because what we do is we want pleasures.
Well, Tunaja, we don't know that.
Little comforts, and we don't want to do the hard work to build.
But Tunaja, let me ask you this. You know, they've been saying South Africa. I remember when they had independence, right? They've been saying they were going to fail, and I was a kid back then, and somehow, I mean, I don't know, they seem to just keep doing good. They've been saying it since I was a kid that they were going to fail.
They even talked about the gas power plant that was sabotaged in South Africa. Every time you tap South Africa, that sabotage is all you see. Like, it's all over the place in everything that is going on. And they don't even have a clue what is going on in their country. And when
so you think Josie and Lozi and Rats don't know what's going on in South Africa?
They don't have a clue. See, all they see is the events occurring in their face. They don't know why it's happening. They're going to
Are you serious?
Hold on, let me finish my point. They're going to sit there and see a miracle happen in their eyes. Nigeria has crude oil under the ground. We have gas. We are importing petrol. We can have 4 refineries. Not one of them is working. What kind of miracle is that?
But South Africa is more competent. It's more competent than Nigeria.
It's not. See. If you don't fix your country, if you don't fix your country, nothing is going to work. And the truth is, if you don't fix it, other people are going to determine your fate. They are going to tell you when you're going to have power supply, when you're not going to have power supply, depending on how your leaders behave.
Okay, but Tunaja, you're refusing to answer the question, right? Are they, because, okay, you're saying they don't understand. Wait, hold on. Because about the failed state thing, you don't want to answer that, but everything you're alluding to, you're saying they don't understand, you know, if it's, you know, like you're saying, it's going to head and become like Nigeria. So what is that supposed to mean?
They are headed in that direction if they don't pay attention to their country's national security. They are busy trying to pretend as if nothing is happening. Their own official is saying these operations are so sophisticated, it has to be an economic sabotage. Their own officials are saying it.
Are they deflecting? Do you think the officials are deflecting?
Maybe you want to accuse them of deflecting, but I know the signs. I know the signs.
All right, let's bring in Lozi.
If you look at the patterns in any country that is looking to develop, even Iran has gone through this. They have their power stations.
We're talking about South Africa, but let's bring in Lozi. Lozi, are you there?
Hey, can I say something, Afrodamus?
Hold on, guys. You know, I don't know. You guys are making West Africans look bad. The South Africans are here conducting themselves properly. You know, I mean, come on. You gotta let Lozi.
I didn't interrupt anybody.
No, I'm talking about you know, some of you West Africans. But let's allow Lozi. Lozi, go ahead before this you know, unruly, you know, West Africans steal your time again.
Yeah, look, Afridamus, I had this conversation with Tunaja. He knows my stance. I don't know why today he's forgetting that. Look, I don't take what Tunaja is saying. I do have a feeling that I agree with him to a good certain extent, because I'm for that belief that the external force is always there in Africa. So now it's our responsibility to guard our countries and protect them. And it's true. I mean, we haven't been doing well in terms of protecting our continent. And it's up to that, blame goes to us as well. But I don't underestimate what they're capable of. For example, if you follow up on what our country is currently doing in geopolitics, it is striking in the hearts of the enemy. Now, I'm not saying all the problems we have, they stem from that, because we also don't want to shift the responsibility. It could be internal. Up until we find out and know what's really going on for some of these things that are happening, we can only know then. But then again, Josie said, and it's true, some of these things are exaggerated and blown out of proportion. And the other thing that I'm not seen on this panel, I'm grateful to be a South African, because I feel like many Black nations are looking up towards us. The obsession with our country and the way they're so invested in our country, it shows that we are actually one of the Black nation that is leading the Black people. So they are sending this energy towards us, not because they hate us. It's because they look up to us. We are the role models of almost 90% of all the Black nations. And we're going to play our part. And I'm going to leave this with people on this panel and everywhere else. South Africa, the black South Africans are gonna lead all of you, and we're gonna get everything under control. Don't panic, my people.
Oh, God.
All right, let's bring in Judah. Hold on.
Okay.
Judah. Do black Africans looking up to South Africans? And also, what do you want to add on to what Rads and the other speakers said?
Let me first go back to Niger, talking about how Ghanaians to chase out Fulanis, to chase out the Fulanis, Burkina guys out of Ghana. This is a thing, right? Is rather unfortunate, because what is happening in Burkina Faso, I don't think Niger can really comprehend, since he's an English, he doesn't know detailedly about what is happening. These guys are being chased out. They are running away because of problems that is happening in Burkina Faso. So they are refugees. Now they are into Ghana, and Ghana is chasing them out and giving them to the same government that is after these people. That tells you that Niger really don't know about geopolitics in Africa. He keeps talking about how he's smart. He should go back to Nigeria and rule what is happening. But this is the thing. Cameroon is getting a lot of Fulanis running from Nigeria into Cameroon. Cameroon is not chasing them back into Nigeria. We have, as we speak right now, the Sudanese people that are fleeing from Sudan. They are now into Chad. Most of them are crossing the border into Cameroon. Cameroon is not chasing them out. They are all in the north of Cameroon right there. Nobody is chasing them out. Few years ago, Fulanis from Central African Republic, because they got defeated by the Central African Rebellion, they all fled into Cameroon. They are still right now in Cameroon. Nobody is chasing them out, man. You don't chase Fulanis, you don't chase refugees and send them back to the enemy that is against them. It makes no sense. Now let me go back to South Africa. Look, no African country, it maybe Nigeria might be looking up to South Africans. I don't think Cameroon is really looking up to South Africans. The matter of fact, we might be looking up to the white man. We want to be like the white man, develop our countries just like the white man. We know that the white man has perfection in what they do. Come on, who looks up to South Africa, Ben, in Africa? I mean, you see the crime wave, as you were talking about, how getting into your garage, you can get, your car can get taken out, your life might get taken out, I mean, come on, man. It's rather unfortunate that people look up to South Africa. I don't think there's a black man looking up to another black man for survival. That tells you there's a problem. A black man, I'll tell you, a black man should never look up to a black man. Look up to the white man. The white man is the only person that can change your whole life by showing you how to do things. We have never learned how to do things on our own.
Wait, Judah. Judah, you said black men should never look up to black man.
To black, you should never.
But Judah, you don't think West Africa should look up to South Africa?
No, hell no. A black man has never known how to do things on their own, man. You should look up to people that have built, manufactured
airplanes. This sounds like a retarded conversation.
Hold on, Lozzie, just let him. You'll have a chance to.
Look up to people.
Yeah, man. I think I will leave if this is kind of the bottom.
Tunaya, let him. He's got the freedom of speech. Let him express himself. You guys will have the opportunity to say what you want. Just let him.
Look up to people that have been able to build, manufacture, develop their country. They have clean water, electricity is booming, everything clean road, everything is good, everything is in order. Look up to people like that. It is insane to look up to someone that doesn't even know how to tie his own shoes, doesn't even know how security works, doesn't even know how to take care. Come on, bro. I mean, if Cameroon look up to South Africa, I would tell Cameroonians now, that's a disgrace. You are instead going down water than instead going up. You have to aim high than aim low. I'm going to cut it right in, let someone talk.
All right. Let
me just say this. You know what? I agree with Judah on this one. Judah's president lives in Switzerland, and it makes sense. It does. Everything makes sense. I think it's a Cameroonian thing because even his own president lives with a white man in the white man's country. So he's running.
Wait, Lozzie, are you saying Lozzie?
White people around the
hold on, Judah. Hold on, Judah.
guys are these guys are roaming around in South Africa with white people. What the heck is he talking about? The white man wants your economy, and here you want to talk about
okay, but Judah, you talked about hold on. So Lozi, you saying, you know,
I'm agreeing with him.
You saying you agree his own president ran to a Swiss village.
He lives there. He lives there.
Rats, go ahead, Rats. Go ahead, Rats.
Cameroonians twice
Rats, what do you think about what he said? And we'll go next to Gue. Please don't interrupt Gue. Oh, yeah, American Rifleman, don't worry, we'll get to you too.
He's already why is American Rifleman?
I'm gonna be quick, man.
No, go ahead, Rats.
Yes. So I'm gonna agree with what Twina just said about Judah, that he likes making controversial statements, and I'm also not going to entertain that. But there are things I think, for instance, I live in South Korea right now, right? And I can tell you that there are things that these people have that puts them in a much better position than us. For instance,
exactly.
The one thing that,
look up to them, not looking
hold
up
on,
to
Hold on, Judah.
Those are people you look up to.
Judah, hold on. Let him speak.
Yeah. So the first one is the country is a homogeneous country. It means that everyone speaks the same language, everyone comes from the same tribe, everyone is one people.
Right.
One problem that's plaguing us Africans is that it's the issue of tribalism. Yes, we're black. Yes, we look like this, but you speak a different language, or you have different customs and
different culture, different language, different interaction. I know exactly what you're saying.
Exactly, and out of that there's tension because this tribe feels that they're better than that tribe, and this tribe, because of their historical history, enslaved this tribe, and so that's the problem. So that's the one advantage that these people have. They're a homogeneous society. They're one people. The other thing about Korea is that they have everyone speaks the same language, and their alphabet is the easiest alphabet to learn in the world. So because their alphabet is easy to learn, because no, listen.
Judah, don't interrupt. Judah, have you ever been to Korea, Judah?
On all his points, man. I disagree. Belgium has like 5 people that speak different languages. It's far developed. I mean,
hold on, Judah,
and still be developed. That doesn't make sense at all. Come on, man.
Judah, he's got Judah, he's got a point. Judah, look at it in Cameroon. Aren't you guys fighting over language over there?
Bro, we are fighting, but Belgium got how many languages? Switzerland got how many? You can't.
But there's one language that is dominant.
It doesn't matter. Africa are just incompetent of changing their environment. You can have multiple languages and still do things in a good way. Not just because you have, Korea has one, then you want. Chinese has how many languages? 50. But they have been able to work together, bro.
Okay, fine. Fine, Judah. Let the man lives over there. He knows the alphabet. Let the man speak. Go ahead.
Yes. So the other point that I want to make is that their alphabet is much. It's one of the easiest alphabets to learn, and because of that, kids learn how to read and write from a very young age because their alphabet. Their alphabet and their language allows them to do so. So that's the reason why this country has such a high rate of maths and science, statistics. Their education is so high. Is because of they learn how to read and write from a very young age. Whereas, for instance, in South Africa, in South Africa, most of our youth learn how to read and write at a much later stage. Whereas for them, it happens earlier. Second thing is they have a culture of sending their kids to training academies. So you'd find a kid who goes to school, and then after school they go to math academy, and then after that they go to English academy, and then they go to different types of academy. They have that culture. Most kids by the age of 15 go home at 12 o'clock at night. Some of them go home at 10 o'clock at night. Some of them go home at 8 o'clock at night. It's just a culture. It's just it's something that everyone does. The other one that I also want to point out is Korea has a very one of the highest aging populations in the world, and the reason for that is if you were to come here, you would see that there's a lot of exercise parks everywhere, and just the way that the different towns are planned. You'd see a lot of running tracks where people can exercise. So Also, a lot of the times in the morning, you'd see, Korean people from 6 o'clock in the morning jogging. Some of them, like walking. That's another advantage.
I see them over here too, because I'm into the early morning exercise. I'm up by 4, ready to go.
So that wouldn't happen in South Africa because of our crime. So nobody would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and just start running or jogging. So
it would be it's like it's not safe. So it's like being in the hood in America.
If it's easy for you to call us, it's easy for Jude to say all the things that he's saying, but again, we need to analyze things, from a macro level to understand why things happen. These people learn how to read and write from a much earlier age. They have a culture where they go to training academies. Those are the reasons why they take.
But you don't think they have those in like in South Africa? You don't think they have safer areas you can do all that, like parks? I'm sure they have it.
They do, but it's not for everyone. The difference between South Africa and Korea, it's for everyone. Everyone does it, whereas for us, it's not.
Like, what do you mean it's not for everyone? Because even here in America, some people will give you the excuse there's parks everywhere. But there are people who tell, man, I can't go to the, I can't find no park. But why am I there's parks everywhere? You can jog.
There's parks everywhere, but the question is, on your way to the park in the morning or late at night, is it safe? Is it worth it?
So how widespread is is this, where you would say it is really unsafe? Like, what type of neighborhoods?
Well, obviously it's your the ones that I think Lozi pointed out, the Yeovil or something, but every using common sense in South Africa, even if you're living in a safe area, it's best not to. Even if the area is not known for those kinds of violent crimes, but you just feel uneasy. Plus, exercising and
So you're saying it's not safe?
It may be safe, but your mind won't be telling you. Your mind won't be telling you that.
Okay.
So you'd be there jogging or taking a walk, and then you'd feel something. You look back, and because you just feel that something bad's gonna happen, even if it's a safe.
So like Rats, let me ask you this. Like Rats, you are in South Korea, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say like what you're saying. So in South Korea, let's say early in the morning or 2, compared to like South Africa, where would you say feels much safer to you? Like just being able to go out, without worry.
In South Korea, I could play with my phone with cash sticking out my pockets at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't even feel any slightest, sense of danger. That's how safe it is. And I'm not even living in, the richest city in Korea. I'm living in the rural area where people are really suffering, people are poor, but still there is, that threat doesn't exist.
Because the fear of crime is very low.
No, hold on. Let me say. Can I say something? I've been waiting very patiently, and I just want to be. And see, this is why you can't let Tunaja and Judah. I know Tunaja and Judah are very entertaining, and they like to disturb people. Hold on, Tunaja. I'm gonna be quick if you just shut up and stop interrupting.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. American Rifleman, say this quick, and then hold on. Tunaja, don't interrupt him. After him, please allow Gue to say something, please. And okay, go ahead.
And I came before him, and he's speaking 3 times.
But Tunaja, please allow him. Tunaja, you're
Tunaja,
you told me. Hold on, Tunaja. Hold on, Tunaja. Wait, Tunaja. You see Zongo here, Josie Go, Gue, right? Lozi. All these people, like, even it's a South African topic, even, but you've even spoken more than the South Africans.
I've spoken twice.
But how much time did you take?
Okay, so my time is the one that is the longest among all of them.
No, but the thing is, no, Tunaja, they will respond to you. But everything you said, You have to allow them to respond to you. That's why he's saying your
Not
name.
only me they are responding to now, so other people are able to interrupt.
No, wait. If he says something that you need to respond to, you know, you can respond.
Was I not
to
the
him.
first person here? I was the first person here.
Yeah, that's why you spoke more than everybody.
I've spoken twice. What is more than everybody? Are we living in an other universe here? What is this? I've spoken twice.
Okay, fine. Allow him to speak, please. Please, just be patient to Niger. Go ahead, American Rifleman. I see, American Rifleman. Do you have more Nigerian DNA? Because I see a Nigerian war here. What's going on?
No, it's just Tunaja has a long history of saying things, and I'm a cook on it right now. He has a history of saying things and pontificating things, and it's literally like just not true. And I'll just say that. So here's an example. He says external forces in South Africa is kind of holding them back. You know, he pretty much means to say it's the white man. But the problem is, let's take a country like Iran that people have talked about on the panel. Okay, Israel is being backed up and helped by the biggest power in the world to kill Iranian nuclear scientists, to make sure their economy stays small because the international community sanctions the hell out of them all the time. And it just seems that they're able to still have all these reactors and enrich uranium all the time, even though every time an Iranian scientist, a nuclear scientist, pop his head up,
you got a point there. You got a point because you know, yes, I did read over the years many times.
How can you hard way to understand? That is the point I'm making.
No, Tunaja, stop it. Tunaja, I wasn't done. I was almost done, Tunaja. Stop it. Tunaja, hold on. Stop interrupting, sir. See, this is what we're talking about. Tunaja, stop talking. Stop talking, Tunaja, so I can finish and then you can blab. So here's the deal. There's actual, like, people can say how the external forces stopping Iran or stopping another country because you can say it's sanctions, military actions, all this stuff. Tunaja just said, oh, he was just blaming Ninja Blats for sabotage. And then I think it was Josie came on and just explained, like, no, it was just a labor dispute. It wasn't anything else. And this dude tried to pass it off like, America and Israel sending Ninja Blats to shut down the whole thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to actually have detail before you say stuff like that, Tunaja. Iran is actually an example. And also, South Africa just needs to foster a better culture where they can get, there's hundreds of thousands or thousands of nuclear scientists or physicists, whatever, waiting in line. I don't know if you guys got the training schools, but I just would suggest that you guys got that. So I'm not here to criticize, but shout out to all the South Africans. You guys are wonderful on the panel, and I'll leave at that. Thank you.
All right, Gwe, are you there?
Why am I not allowed to respond to him?
Hold on, he left. Gwe,
I won't be able to respond.
Okay.
Carry on with your preaching.
Hold on, Tunaja, you respond. Gwe, are you there?
I don't like coming here. You don't allow people to respond to stuff. People just like this thing malign me as much as they see fit. Are you passing one around?
Okay, can you 30 seconds respond?
Keep talking.
30 seconds. Can you respond? Go ahead. 30 seconds.
He talked about Iran. That is exactly my point. Iran is able to endure these things because they are doing their due diligence. What did I say about African leaders? They are useless, like many of us here. They are useless people. We talk about nonsense, but we don't secure our people. When I talked about the Kenyan president mounting off and the South African mounting off without improving the security of his country, the same thing our previous leaders have done.
But Tunaja, weren't you the same person who said, hold on, weren't you the same person who said right here that, you said Ramaphosa told the white people, how it's supposed to be done. You said that here. That means, that means the blacks, that means blacks can decide for themselves because he told the white people like it's supposed to be done. So okay, what do you think about? You said it, right?
Yeah, but what is that supposed to mean? Because he said
that means we are in charge of ourselves.
Yes, he's saying those things, but he didn't do the due diligence. When I spoke to Abacha's chief security officer, which was Al Mustafa, he said he went to Libya to learn how Gaddafi survived sanctions and all the stuff that he did. But he didn't learn anything about security. He said he learned about the economic stuff. I said, how can you not learn about the security stuff that Gaddafi did? Because of that now, You lost your commander-in-chief, and you lost this thing, Abiola, during that period. Two significant
You
officials.
know what,
This is the same thing our leaders do.
Tunaja.
They don't learn their lesson like other people do it.
Tunaja, this is
not
actually
Nigerian
one
politics,
point.
man.
Hold on, Tunaja, this is one point you actually brought up. I agree with you because I have actually thought about that whole scenario, and I agree with you on that part.
Because I've spoken to some of all these people that have made these decisions, and they keep betraying the idea that they do everything we do. They always go for economic stuff, healthcare stuff, HDI, security. That is the key. If you don't secure your people, you don't secure your scientists, if you don't secure your infrastructure.
But Tunaja, we Africa, we don't have scientists. Like, are you trying to act like we got scientists?
We have scientists all over the world.
They work for the white people. All our scientists work for the white people. Like, what are you talking?
They are going to start coming to work for your country. China, I said that video I sent you showed that in India lost 2,500 of their top scientists.
Man, okay, you know what, Tunaja, we'll come to that. You know, we don't want to bother about India.
What the point I'm trying to make is that this world doesn't owe us a living. If you keep complaining about economic stuff and you're not doing the due diligence to secure your country,
but Tunaja, do you think Ramaphosa is just a good speaker? That's all.
Tunaja goes everywhere. India, come on, man.
I think they are doing. Can you just shut up, Jude?
Because you know, Ramaphosa, he can speak really well. Do you think he's just a motivational speaker?
See, I think most of our African leaders are acting like caretaker governments. They are not running our countries to truly be independent. Even if when they sound independent, it tends to be lip service. That same Ghanaian president that was complaining to the Secretary of State of America in that same summit was saying Africa doesn't need Western powers anymore. We don't need to borrow money from them anymore. Immediately went and borrowed money from IMF in that same conference. These people are giving us.
Tunaja, do you think the Ghanaians have like some sort of fake thing they do to us Africans? They say one thing and they do the opposite.
Yes, Ghanaians do that a lot, and I have to say Nigerians don't do that, but Nigerians act it. They don't do anything to gain their own sovereignty. The same thing with many African countries. The only country that are even trying right now, like are really trying to push for this sort of things, you can argue that Mali is taking radical actions. They even removed the French as their official language now. So they are taking radical actions. There are many Sahel countries that are trying to do some of all these things. Maybe it's tied to what is going on in Niger right now, but we don't know that yet. So, but South African president, if you want to start talking about those sort of things, I would expect you to start doing some groundwork. Make sure your country.
But Tunaja, South Africa is more secure. Like their government, it's not like West Africa where one man runs all the shows. See, they convicted Zuma.
See, they are living on the glories of the past. The South African government.
What do you mean they live on? They convicted Zuma for corruption.
They've removed governors from office in Nigeria.
When did this happen in West Africa?
How many governors have they removed from office?
No, I'm talking about president.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, they might
even in America, there are governors that went to prison.
Yeah, after they won the election because of the
no,
issue, they moved them from office.
No. Mayor Blagojevich in Chicago, he went to prison.
Mayor, not governor.
No, governor. He was a governor. My bad. He was a governor. You got Kilpatrick. Mayor Kilpatrick went. I think he's still in prison. But let's allow Gwe. Hold on. I want to ask Gwe something.
He's free.
Hold on. Tunaja, let me ask.
Nigeria can talk forever without letting people on the panel talk. That's how he takes over.
I'm signing off anyway.
Hold on. Gwe.
Thank you for
Gwe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
so,
hear you.
Gwe, for me personally, right? I disagree with what Judah said about, we Black African countries. There's nothing we can learn. We should look up, to South Africa and learn from them. I personally think we should look up to them and learn, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, but their story is unique. What do you make of like what Judah saying? Black people should not even bother to learn, waste their time to learn from other Black people. He said they should just look up to white excellence and Asians. What do you think about that?
I disagree with that because that means he's assuming that all Black people are just ignorant and stupid and don't know what they're doing. Now, if he had said, listen to the ones that are productive,
smart, yeah,
then that would be an accurate statement. But to just, lump all the black people together and say that, what a good or bad, like you said, you can still learn things from South Africa.
Right.
The good things that they have done to maintain their country, you can learn those things and implement it in your country. The bad things that they had done that have derailed the country, you can also learn that so that you apply that so that don't happen to your own country. So I think saying that you cannot learn from any black person, you have to look up to the white people. I think that's very ignorant to say of that. That's just an ignorant statement to make.
Because do you think Judah is comfortable with white people because he's on president in Cameroon? What's his name? Paul Biya. Paul Biya lives in Switzerland in the white people's country in a village.
Is that even legal to do? Aren't you supposed to be in the country operating? I mean, that's Africa, so I mean, they can do anything they want to.
Tell me which African country is not comfortable with a white man. Even Liberia economy depends on the white man. America is running Liberian economy. What the hell you guys are?
That
The
is
whole
true.
Africa
That
depends on
is
the white
true.
man. Exactly.
That is true. So.
But Judah, what are you talking about? South Africa, they run their own economy.
Oh, come on, man. That's what is on paper. Behind the scene,
Yeah,
in reality,
it's my turn. Let
blacks
me
do not
speak,
even
man.
run anything in South Africa. In reality, I'm telling you for a fact, these guys, look, this is what the white man does. This is what the British policy is. Let me, Zongo, let me finish. There's what they call the indirect rule. The white man put the black man at the front, acting like, oh, he's the one doing something. No, behind the scene, the white man controls them. That's a fact. That's what the
So do the white man control Ramaphosa?
Exactly.
Can I say something after Judah?
Let me finish. That's what the British indirect rule system is. When it comes to French rule, they call it direct rule. The French want to be at the scene. That's why when all these Anglophone Africans saying, oh, the French is taking over French African countries, because the Frenchman is on the ground acting. But the British man with indirect rule stays in the UK and appoints blacks. But these blacks are not, they don't support their own people. They feed the white man in Europe. That's the difference. We are all in the same.
You're right. In West Africa, you are correct. Yeah, the indirect rule, it's real in West Africa.
Exactly. When these Mumu Anglophone African countries say, oh, the Frenchman is taking over your country, but it's the same thing in your own country. You have your own currency, but you don't control it. You have your own petrol, but you don't control nothing. It's the same thing. We are all in the same shit, man. No African country is better. So nobody should look up to South Africa. Look up to the white man and build your country.
Wait, so Judah, are you saying that, okay, how much percent of the economy of South Africa do you think is in the hands of the blacks?
The white man controls everything. The white man can switch South African off and everything will crumble. I'm telling you for a fact, the blacks do not control anything. That's why when the coronavirus happened, what happened? They shut down the South African flight.
But Ramaphosa, didn't you hear what Tuna just said? Ramaphosa, went to the white people and told them like it is.
Oh, come on, man. You're talking about a two-legged bulldog, a guy that can bark but cannot bite. He can only say things but not do actions on it. Come on, bro. Which African presidents can come up with actions? They run their mouth on public, doing public speaking. But behind the scene, they are like dogs with tails in their back. They cannot do anything. Come on, bro. These guys only do things in public to satisfy Africans. But behind the scene, they are doing nothing for African people. It's just a fact, man. When I see people come here,
so you saying Ramaphosa is all talk?
Oh man, he's a motivational speaker, bro. There is nothing that he. Come on, man.
Hold on, Josie, what do you think about this?
These guys are just out for their own personal being,
Ramaphosa.
Family.
Yeah.
Ramaphosa. Look, he's not my favorite president, but I don't think anyone's controlling him. He's making his own decisions. Some I agree with, some I don't. It's just like any other president. So, yeah, that's where I'll leave it with Ramaphosa. And now to what I wanted to say earlier. Look, I'm about to log off, so I'm going to just summarize everything and do my closing statement.
Yeah, we're about Zongo, you are next. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, personally for me, I live in Johannesburg, and in terms of like robberies and stuff like that, like this is basically the capital of that. But like I've never been afraid to jog or walk or anything. Look, I guess as people, like, we have different lived experiences, but I would think that maybe.
So what Rats, because Rats is giving comparison, to where he lives now, like outside of South Africa
Maybe
versus
they're
South Africa.
ridiculously safe.
Huh?
Maybe. Look. I can't talk about South Korea, but for me, in my own lived experience, personally.
Super safe. It's one of the safest country in the world to live
Wait,
in.
can I just finish talking? Look, and I'm sure South Korea is a nice place, but I've never been afraid to walk or take a jog or anything like that. So, especially if you live in the suburbs. So, okay, there's that. And another thing that I need to add is that, look, to call South Africa a failed state for me is ridiculous. Even with the ANC's corruption and some of its own madness, they've done a lot. They've built a lot. They things that we can actually point to and say, this is them. They built a lot of it, especially for previously disadvantaged groups. That it obviously includes black people. They've done a lot for this country. They've built a lot. They've added a lot of value. Have they done things in recently to derail that? Yes, they have. That is a reality. But I can't say that it's a failed state right now, because even them, even with their corruption, even with their madness, the things that they've done, look, I'll even argue that they're one of the best, sadly, they're one of the best governments on the continent if you look at their record and the things they've done for their people. They have people coming in from other countries, not because of white people.
Josie, you're actually correct. I agree with you on that, because on the continent, Black Africa, I would say their government, like, you guys get loads of immigrants, not only around you, but from all the way from West Africa, and it's black run, and it still didn't collapse. So you're correct about that.
Like, I remember this when I was a little kid in the 90s, because I was too young to like notice that South Africa had just gotten its independence. Like, yeah, I'd hear about it, but I just didn't understand it at the time. There was always this talk, especially from people from other races, that, oh no, South Africa's gonna crumble. Oh no, it's gonna fail. It still hasn't. Does it have challenges? Right. Yes. Have they caused some of these challenges the current leadership? Yes, they have. That's just the reality. That's why I don't agree with Nigel when he says we must just look at the outside. Look, even if you get scanned, you need to take some accountability for you being scanned. Like it goes both ways. Like, what did you do to enable that to happen to you? That's something that's called accountability, extreme accountability. They've made some bad decisions with this energy crisis thing. That's a reality that we have to acknowledge. I think.
Josie, what do you think about? Do you see Tuna just say, if you guys don't watch out, you're gonna be Nigeria? Do you see you guys becoming Nigeria?
Not with the type of people that we have. Like, what I like about South Africa, look, the things like that I said, the things that the ANC has done for its own people, it doesn't just attract other Africans, but people from all over the world with all its problems. Like, you find that there are a lot of people from Asia here. You find that a lot of people like from South America, Europe. Of course, bulk of them are going to be from other African countries. You need to ask yourself, why is that happening? Because of the things that they have done. Like the ANC or not, personally, I think they've overstayed their welcome, and we need a new political party, someone else to take over. But
maybe Malema and his people.
No, hell no, and especially not him. Not him.
They don't like Malema because he's a Pan-African.
Okay. Let me just finish. Judah, shut up. Judah, be quiet. I'm talking. I'm gonna go off right now. Look,
Judah, hold on. Judah, hold on.
I said you.
Hold on, Judah. Let him finish.
Look, it can't be Malema, but someone was sensible. Like someone was sensible, because right now, I think the ANC's become too corrupt. So, but the people that I believe in the most in this country is the people. That's why this country has attracting a lot of people, especially after '94. People thought that this country was going to collapse. It hasn't.
Because for me, I don't want it to collapse. I'm looking to visit South Africa, and I haven't been there yet. For it to collapse, I don't want that.
The Table Mountain.
Wait, let me just finish.
Hold on, Judah.
Look, it hasn't. You don't want it to collapse, I don't. But sadly, other Africans, white supremacists like that guy, that white guy there, that guy lives in China, doesn't live in South Africa complaining about it. Lives far away. He's disgruntled about certain things. Look, for me, South Africa today is much better off overall for all of its people than it was back during apartheid or even 20 or 30 years ago. So I'll take this South Africa any day, and I'll take this country over any other country. Peace. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys. You guys heard it straight from Josie. He's South Africa. Lozi, hang tight, because Lozi is going to be the last person to close it. Zongo, go ahead, Zongo.
Yeah, Fadamus. You see the level of decorum or conduct that one has.
Yes,
defines their level of civility. See,
Zongo, I have to give it to you. It shows the Ghanaians are more stable, because you're sitting here and I don't want to name the two countries who are shouting at each other. You and Gue also. You guys are just sitting there. So, maybe you guys can serve the Cameroonians and the Nigerians some of the water you guys have there. Maybe that would help them. But continue.
You see, this is why a lot of people have issues with Nigeria. When you talk about it, they're like, "Oh, you don't like them." Come on, man. See, we live in America, Afrodamus. You live in America. See, the white people, they control everything in the world. Do they act that way when you work with them? Do they act like
no?
On really? You see the level of civility they have all the time. But when it comes to disciplining you, where you don't follow to their terms and an agreement, they will let you know as well. So all talk, a lot of like the times this some African countries, the so-called the giants of Africa, it's all talk. It's all talk. Nothing really works, right? See, two Niger earlier, he was speaking about they tried to sabotage the gas plant. Afrodamus, a lot of the machineries and equipment that we use to produce this plant, it's not built by Black Africans.
It's what?
It's not built by Black Africans. It's built by the Europeans and Americans, right?
Right.
So I mean, so if you want them to teach you
or
how
the
to
Chinese,
do it, or the Chinese, no, but in the oil and gas industry, it's mostly the
white people,
Americans and the Europeans. That's it. The Chinese, they're still learning. They don't know anything about that yet, right?
People actually think the Chinese know a whole lot. Like, they don't understand white technology. White people are way more advanced than the Chinese. People
Man,
don't.
I work in this industry. That's why I kept quiet. See, the last time we went to Tacoma, like recently, to do an inspection in the pulp and paper mill, right? You see the level of industry they have over there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just the woods chips from the cities that they use to produce electricity to power the whole mill, and it's just crazy. It's mind-boggling. We haven't reached that level yet, right? So I think a lot of the times we gotta humble ourselves and learn from the ones who knows how to do it.
Then you agree with Judah. So what do you think about what Judah said about we can learn nothing from South Africa? He said, black men shouldn't even waste their time learning from black men. Learn from the white man and the Asians. He didn't count the Arabs, but what do you think about that?
I mean, that is erroneous from Judah to think that way. Because if anything at all, the South Africans are learning from the same white man, right? So
yeah, because I mean, like, I learned a lot about, like, I like I said, I disagree with him. Even the blacks here, I learn a lot from the blacks. Okay, so when I make my news, people think, "Oh, Africans don't learn nothing from the blacks. You don't like the blacks." No, I learned a lot from the blacks.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a whole lot.
I mean, there's a lot of things we gotta learn instead of just beating on your chest. Oh, the white people sabotage us. No, that's not true, man. You don't know how to do a lot of things. You don't know how to even produce, to generate power in order to produce electricity. You don't know how to do that. Even in Ghana, in Nkrumah, the dam that was built in Ghana, it wasn't produced by us. It was an American company that did it for us. The artificial lake in Ghana that supplies power for Ghana and neighboring country like.
Was that the Volta Dam?
Yeah, the Akosombo Dam, right?
Akosombo, okay.
Yeah, we live in Washington State. You know, more than 50% of the electricity, the power that is generated for in Washington State comes from the dams. I mean, we visited a lot of these places. I mean, in Washington State. I mean, we just gotta humble ourselves and learn that, from the ones who know, the ones who have industrialized their societies, so we can learn something like Japan. Japan, they come from Asia, but they know a lot of Asians are backwards, so they align themselves with Western Europeans just to gain the benefits of industrialized economies, and that's what the South Africans are doing. Afridamas, I think South Africans shouldn't listen to these dusty West Africans. I don't think they
You
should
don't think
listen.
South Africans should, because Tuna just said they should learn from them Nigerians.
Man,
You don't think they should learn from the Nigerians?
They shouldn't learn from the dusty Nigerians, Afridamas, man. See, when I was in Cyprus, I studied with a brilliant Nigerian student. See, the smart Nigerians, they don't act like two Niger. You know that, right? The smart Nigerians, they are very like they have this level of civility, just like a lot of us.
Tunaja is a very civil man, please.
No, he's a dusty. See, let me tell you. See, even in Nigeria, like the student that I went to college with, in the oil and gas industry, he told me there was one time he went to one of the offices of this leading oil companies in the world, which is operating in Nigeria. Guess a lot of the workers, they don't really come from Nigeria, Afadamas, man. A lot of those engineers and this inspectors and this drilling engineers, they come from Western countries, and the Chinese and the Asians. That's what he told me personally.
Yeah. Zongo, Supergirl have a question for you. He said, do they act like Kidola? He put that at Zongo.
I mean, Kidola, he have a level of honesty sometimes. You can tell his honesty. But the moment
except when he talk about Ghana, right?
When he said Ghana, I'm like, Kidola is paying too much attention on music industry, man. All Ghanaians don't listen to music. I get it. Some Ghanaians kind of feel some kind of way when it comes to Nollywood and music. But the whole of Ghana is not about music, man. My mom doesn't listen to music all the time. Man, there's a lot of industries outside of the music and entertainment industry. America, Afdamas, we live here in Washington State. The white people, do they listen to a lot of black music? No. I mean, a lot of things that I know about Black Americans here in Washington State, I don't think even some of my white counterpart that I work with knows about them.
Zongo, you're killing me, man.
Yes, and they live in America, man.
Well, Zongo, thank you. Zongo, what do you want to close by before you leave?
See, what I'm saying is, I don't think South Africa is a failed state, right? I think they need time. The population of South Africa has grown over the years. It's obvious that the output of power generation that they have in the past is nowhere comparable to the level of consumption rate that they're experiencing now. So it means that they have to increase the power generation output in order to match the consumption demand. It's gonna take time. It needs time, Afrodamas, man. It needs time. Sometimes you gotta model the market. You just don't want to manufacture free stuff for people. It has to make economic sense. So you have to determine, are we gonna go into hydro electric power generation? Are we going to go into hydrothermal? Are we going to use natural gas, which is a clean energy? I mean, are we going to use biomass? I mean, it's going to take a lot of time.
But Zongo, do you think the South Africans are using a generator to call into the show?
See, after that was a lot of us are even blaming the politicians. The politicians, they have no knowledge about the industry. See, I work in the government right now, right?
Right.
And we work.
They just guess. They guessed it, and they just guess it.
Even the governor relies on us to give us the good data about the field that I work in, right? So I mean, come on, man. I mean, see, sometimes you need qualified people to give input about certain things happening in certain sectors, right? Some people just come and rant and speak about Nigeria and speak about India, and then when you speak about them, they say you hating on them. Come on, man, stop it, cut it out, man. I mean,
Well,
hey,
Zongo,
Judah, you gotta
Zongo,
behave
thank you.
yourself, man. You gotta behave yourself,
Hey,
man.
hey, Zongo,
The
Zongo, how does it, Zongo? Now that you found out, Judah is a Salt Lake City gangster with his durag, like, are you now scared?
This is actually my first time seeing Judy, man. Hey, Judy, man, come on. Why you gotta do me like that the first time I came to the show? You never seen me before. Maybe I can show you some game a little bit, man. You gotta
Oh
put
Hey,
wow, wow.
Zongo, don't worry. Some
hey.
people, Zongo, they informed me on email about they're gonna find that video. I got the video about Judah begging for FBA
And by the
women.
way, Damas, I think 3 weeks ago in Seattle, we went to like a rooftop in downtown Seattle. We met like three white
You,
South
you know,
Africans.
I have my own rooftop.
Oh, for real? Shit.
Oh yeah.
That's great, man. So
Zongo,
we
you
met
have
like
invite me to
three
Seattle
white
so
South
I can join you
Africans.
at one of those rooftop.
Yeah. We met 3 white South Africans over there. They were extremely nice, and a lot of people thought they were actually Australians. But you can tell how passionate they are about their country, man. I'm from
Oh,
South Africa, man.
they love South Africa. So like I've met white people. They love South that are from
After
South
let me
Africa.
tell you.
Yeah.
So I was with this black guy, our people, man. From here, he's from
The blacks.
LA. Yeah. And he was like, oh, he thought Africans live on the hut. And I'm like, damn, like this guy was embarrassing me. I'm like, damn, like, and they literally had to Google Joburg or Cape Town for him to see, like, damn, man, this place literally looked like LA.
What kind of people you hanging out with, man? I told you these blacks are dumb, man. You don't
Hold
find
on,
nothing like that,
Jude. Thank you, Zongo. Let's go to Gwe. Gwe, what's your closing statement?
Yeah, I would say this. I think Africa has a long way to go, to be honest, the entire continent. I think there's a lot of people that live in the continent that are not very honest with themselves, and I think that when you haven't left Africa and live anywhere else, you would think that the place you at is the safest place to you, you know. Um, a lot of countries in Africa is not safe for people, you know. And I think that when you've lived under suppression for so long, sometimes you don't understand the difference of what being free look like. So you will see a lot of Africans will be defending these countries that they come from, knowing that some of them never been anywhere else. So you have no idea what to compare freedom to. I mean, real freedom.
So what do you make of what Rats was comparing? He's from South Africa. He lives in South Korea.
Oh my
He
God, South
gave he
Korea.
gave he gave his example, but the Josie said, hey, he was still talking like South Africa can still match it up pretty much.
No, they
So
can't. They cannot. The last time somebody died in South Korea was in they was stabbed. That was in 2009. That was the last time a murder occurred or any violent crime occurred in 2000 in South Korea. South Korea, you can walk through the street. It's one of the safest countries you will ever go to in the world. It's very safe, So South Africa is nowhere close to the safe place than South Korea is at all. And because
Would you be visiting South? Would you be visiting Johannesburg? And if you do, would you go jogging at the park?
no. And I think the same when you go there, according to my brother that was there last month, you have to, like, they tell you certain places to go. You're not really free to just go anywhere. Because there were some places that he wanted to go see, and the cab driver were telling him, I can't take you over there. So like it's certain places you can go and certain places you can't go. So but in nowhere near the safe that the guy that from South Africa that living in South Korea, he's telling the truth about South Korea and South Africa. South Korea is way safer than South Africa. South Africa is nowhere near safe like them. at all, But I think a lot of the times Africans live in delusions, and I think it's because we don't understand, what it looked like to be successful, And when I mean success, I mean like the peak of success,
Right.
Not the mediocre that it gave you. And sometimes we're quick to accept mediocre instead of striving for that excellent, and
Because
saying no.
they don't know what it means to
Yes,
actually go all the way.
exactly. So they just think that the mediocre that they get is way better than the poor that they would have gotten. And it's like, no, you don't have to settle for that. You can strive for more, and it's okay for you to do that. Instead of thinking that you need to settle for mediocrity instead of than striving for your excellence and doing the best. That Africa should have electricity. It's the richest continent on the planet. It's the poorest place in the world. Like, how is that possible? Because the leaders in these countries are corrupt. It's nobody else to blame. You can't even shift the blame on to say, oh, is the white man, or is this? Even when you
Well,
hear
Tunaja tried.
even if you hear South Africans speak, right? They already divide themselves by saying, oh, white South Africans and black South African. No, you're South African. And that was what I think Judith was the one talking about the division
Can I just
or
say this, my
the
sister? I don't think
or
you know
the
how to can speak. Try to not speak on authority on us, please. You don't know how we speak, how we think. I don't think you've been here. So let's just respect each other on that level at least. I don't speak with authority for Liberian people. I've never been
you
there.
see
I don't
that's
really know
the problem with Africa. That
but
is the
don't do that.
problem.
But
They
you
think
speak with
that
so much
nobody
authority.
can say the truth about what's going on in
Yeah,
those
but
countries except
your
for people who
approach
live
is
in
very
South
weird.
Africa. It's wrong. If something
Yeah,
is on the news, if something is bad,
but what
you just say, oh,
I'm just saying, some things you're saying are right, my sister. But I'm saying you should tone down on speaking with too much authority on things you're not really informed
I
about.
start talking with
That's what
authority
I'm
by
saying.
saying stating the facts.
You're not saying facts. You know what is a fact?
Oh my God. You
Do
just
you know what
it
is
was
a fact?
you or the other guy
You are
that sat
using,
up here and
you are
said
giving
that
opinions, and
South
that's okay.
Africa is more
No,
safe than South
no,
Korea.
no,
It
no.
was either you or the other guy.
Nobody has said that on this panel. Nobody, none.
Yes.
There's no one who said
Maybe
that.
you wasn't paying attention to what was being said. But
No, Josie Gold was trying to say maybe Radi is exaggerating the crime thing, but he
that's not true.
probably
He's not exaggerating.
can I just he probably had a different experience. That's what Josie said. He said he
Look, are
probably
you
had
gonna let her finish before your turn, so you can go ahead and analyze what she's saying?
no, Jude, don't do that. Jude, don't do that. So when people speak about my country, you don't come in. I don't.
So
Hold on, Lozi. Hold on, Lozi. Hold on.
But Afrikaners, we need to be fair. I've never bullied you.
No, Lozi, you have the opportunity to
Yeah,
speak.
but just allowing people to rumble as they
Well, I didn't interrupt. I'm letting you rumble, but you gotta let her speak though.
You see, that's the problem. You see, these days in Africa, when men used to be men, they will never move off emotion. Now it's like they're talking things about your country that are true, and you're triggered because you don't like the way it make you feel.
I don't
Instead
think you
of
know
talking
about my country.
you should the things that are happening.
I don't think you know about my country. That's the thing. That's why I'm agreeing with you.
I don't think you do either.
I don't do what. You don't think I do. You don't think I don't do what?
You're in denial. So of course
I'm
you're
in
gonna
denial
be
of what?
defensive.
Look, I'm in denial. Can you explain what I'm in denial? I'm in denial of what?
You're in denial of your country being the way it used to be. That's what
My
you're in
country used
denial.
to be what? My country used to be what? Can I ask?
South Africa is nowhere near where it used to be. Your crime rate is out of
Do you even
control.
know okay. Carry on. I think I'll just finish your ramble and I'll want to respond.
So that's the thing. Like these days, men are so emotional. It's like everything is move off base emotional instead of moving off off logic. So it's not just South Africa. It's most African countries. The people that come from these countries are so afraid to say the things that are happening in the country and who to blame for the problem in the country. It's nobody else but ourselves. So All that stuff he's saying, I've been listening. I haven't been interrupting or talking or any of that stuff. I've been listening very clearly. South Africa is not where South Africa used to be at all. So you can tell yourself that every single day, whatever helps you sleep at night, good for you. But it's never where it used to be. And I guarantee you, Afro-Diamonds, you take all them white people out of that country, South Africa will be nowhere near where it's supposed to be.
You think it will be like Nigeria?
It will be just like that.
Like West Africa, like what we're used to. All right. Well, thank you, Gwe. Thank you.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much for coming in. All right. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Jude.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be Jude.
Usually you're the co-host, but it's about South Africa, so Lozi gets the last word. Go ahead.
All right, let me give it to Lozi, man. I don't know why they come up with Josie, Lozi, and all these Bozy and CZ. I don't know what's going on, but this is the thing, man. All these small countries, South Africa and Nigeria, and all these smaller countries, want to do a lot of talking.
Wait. You calling South Africa small country and Nigeria?
Oh, come on, bro. What is it? A first class country? Is it a first world or what?
No, but you said small. They are not small.
Of course, I mean small. Yeah, I mean small. Yeah, I mean, is it in the eyes of China? How big is South Africa? In the face of United States, how big is South Africa, bro? It's not even up to a state here in America. So, look, all these smaller countries, man, running their mouth, thinking they have gone far, developed than other countries. Come on, bro. South Africa, look, like I keep saying, man, all Africa is in the same stuff. I'm not coming here to say, oh, we are better, we are this, we are this. The white man control you from bottom to top, left to right. You don't own nothing in your own country. You are just like, roaming around, man, all this talking, man. But look, Afro-Demos, I'm not going to keep talking, and we have talked a lot, see what is happening in Ghana, chasing out their own borders. Because if you look into consideration, Ghana and Burkina Faso are the same people in the north. They are the same people, man. You chase out people that look like you, but you welcome African American, and all these things we want to talk about. Africa unite, come on, man. Africa will never be united.
Judah, did you say South Africa is like a city in America?
Oh, it's like a state, man. Yeah, probably like
Alaska.
Probably,
I thought a state. A state, of course. But when you said a city, Alaska. I was like, what? Okay.
No.
I was like, you're not talking about Gambia now.
Well, I say state, maybe equivalent to probably Alaska or something like that. But look, man, all this suffering in Africa, man. What is going on? Africans are moving out of their countries, man. You see, Gwen is living in America. You are living in America. I'm living in Ghana. You see, Zongo with all this high IQ stuff that he got, he's not even giving back to his own native people in Ghana. He's
gonna be giving back. He's gonna be going back.
He's giving all his IQ to the white man in Seattle, Washington. It makes no sense, man. We are our own problems. We don't.
But what is he supposed to do with the knowledge, Judah?
Oh, come on, man. That's what I tell you. What is he supposed to do? He was supposed to be doing that in his own country, but guess what? Because his own country is a shithole. The white man has done well in his own countries. You have to go where the white man is. The white man has cleaned his environment, give you clean water, give you electricity 24/7, give you internet, free Wi-Fi, all those things. You have it. These are things that Africans really need. If not, then it's crumbling. And in the next years to come, man, I pity South Africans because going to Lesotho to beg them to get water.
But they are buying the water, Judah. They are buying it. You think they are begging?
You are buying it. If Lesotho refusing to sell it to you, what will happen? You wouldn't have no water. That's
so, Judah. If the white man is not in South Africa, what do you think will happen?
Oh, of course. The white man is the one that is still stimulating the South African economy. How do they stimulate it? They get money from the Dutch, the little money, and stimulate it. How can you tell me a people
from
that
who,
control
the Dutch?
their own? Of course. How can you tell me that? How can you tell me that these guys tell you how they have their own bank? They control their own economy. How can you have your own bank
Yet you don't have electricity. Yet you don't have water. Yet you don't have, people are still suffering in Soweto. Yet most of your roads in neighboring places, in the villages are all, come on, man. You cannot be controlling your own, you cannot have your own bank. Yet your country is amongst the most poorest in the world. You cannot be talking about the top academics. Go to every continent. When you talk of world countries, America, North America, you go USA, North America, you go to China, Asia, you go to probably Europe, you have Germany with bigger economy, you go to South America, you talk of Brazil. You want to come to Africa and talk about South, come on, man. It makes, I mean, you control your own, yet nothing is, yet yeah, people are still poor, yet people are roaming around.
But Judah, their economy is strong.
Oh, come on, no. What is their currency? How is their currency?
Right.
What's the currency ranking? I know, but what
is
the ranking?
It's ranking high in Africa.
I'm talking about the world, man. I'm talking about the world. Kuwait dinar, as we speak, is one of the smallest countries in the world. Has one of the world's strongest currency. Kuwait dinar is stronger than the Iran. And this guy is here on the planet talking about how South African, we are this, we are small Kuwait that gained independence from Iraq. How many years ago already has a stronger currency. And this guy is going to roam around and say, oh, they have this. We always complain on things that don't matter. That's the African mindset. We complain about how South Korea has one language. They have been able to use their one language to solve problems. Oh, Africa has so many languages. Oh, come on, Afridemos. I'm done, man. When I talk about Africa, I want to cry.
Thank you,
but thank you so much for letting me express myself in your panel. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. All right, Judith. Thank you for coming in. All right. Hold on, TD. You got 30 seconds because we're closing. Lozy was going to close, but you got 30 seconds.
Good evening, bro. I never knew you were online. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you came late. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is South Africa a failed state? Closing statement. 30 seconds.
South Africa is a failed state. It's a very, very failed state. You can see the rest of Africans, especially Central Africa, East Africa, and West Africa, is with some few countries like Zimbabwe and Zambia downwards and Mozambique. Those people, all of us, are far better than South Africa. South Africa think maybe because of the little European style of development they think they have reached something in life. So the thing is that all of us know how the white man, even in the Bible describes them as our enemies, no matter how we try to do it. These are our enemies. And South Africans, white people are living in their country and they cannot do nothing to get these people out.
Titi, where are you from?
Hello?
Where are you from?
I already described to you West, East, and some areas around South.
I'm honestly asking.
I'm not from South Africa. It's not about where I'm from.
I'm just asking an honest question.
Destroying Africa. Please, can I speak? You have been here for long. Can you allow me to speak?
No, where are you from? No, can we know your country?
Where am I from?
No, since you have a lot to say. No. You have a lot to say, right?
Oh my God.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Afridamus. I'm sure this guy be in the power on the panel for quite some time. Can you allow somebody
that favor to ask him where he's from? Because he can't be ashamed to speak up about his country.
What am I ashamed of? I'm African.
What are you shameful of?
I'm not ashamed to be
African. Where are you
from? It doesn't matter. Even if I'm from
Mali, so you're from Cameroon.
Or whatever. I'm from Africa.
You're from Cameroon. Oh, you're from Cameroon.
No,
okay,
from
go ahead.
Dumbass, you fucking idiot.
Okay, so you're from Cameroon. Go ahead.
Does that increase some feathers on your body?
It explains why you came here. It explains why you came
where you live. Did you build anything in South Africa?
It explains the
Did you put any pillar?
Why are you angry?
Did you construct any pillar in South Africa?
But brother,
why are you everything? And foreigners,
calm down.
Everybody came there and worked with the white man to build South Africa. Did you do anything?
We are aware of your anger. We are aware you are very angry. Okay, we are aware you are very angry.
You don't own shit. What do you want to talk about?
Okay, we are aware of your anger. But where you from Cameroon?
Yeah, I'm from Cameroon. And so what?
Why are you angry? Why do
you want to know about where somebody is coming from before they can talk about South Africa?
You have a lot to say.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
You have a lot to say. Why are you angry, dude?
All right. I'm back. Okay, guys. So, all right. So it's all good. So,
Afridamus cannot finish my point.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. You got 5 more seconds, so we can about to close out. But go
These
ahead.
people are unable to get the white people out from South Africa. Still inferior more than any other place in Africa. Very inferior. And look at the way they have turned out to be. They bleach their skin. They do all type of promiscuity. They don't know shit. I doubt even they even know anything about it. Look, even the uniform.
Wait, who's bleaching their skin?
Their girls. Look at their girls' dress.
Who's bleaching their skin?
Bleaching their skin.
Who's doing that?
South Africans. Even they try to make it like it is not color. It's bleach. It's bleach. It is nothing like color. It's bleach. It's bleach. Look at the way their girls dress. And the little thing, listen, and the little thing, Uganda president is about homosexuality. I am thinking the dealer in South Africa called Malema, or what was he say? A big 419, a scammer. He stood up and be challenging the guy.
But hold on, Tidi. But you know, South Africans, they are naturally light skinned. They have a lot of light skinned people.
Yeah. A lot of them bleach too. A lot of them bleach like Congo, like Nigeria. All of them. A lot.
You know what, Tidi?
We know
Tidi, I want you to call. I want you to attend early tomorrow's show because you missed out on a lot. I want to have you back. In the next show. But thank you for coming in. Okay.
Thank you too, bro. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Elon, closing statement. Elon, is South Africa a failed state? Closing statement, real quick.
South Africa is not a failed state, and I have some good news and some bad news for Titi. It's a shame he had to leave. The good news is, well, I'll just start with the bad news. The bad news is more whites are coming to South Africa. I'm going to open a Tesla facility. And me and my beautiful African wife, Charlize Theron, are going to repopulate South Africa with white babies. But the good news is I'd like to offer him a job in my factory. Those are my closing statements. Thank you very much, Afrodamus.
Thank you very much. All right, Lozi, you got the floor to yourself. Thank you, Lozi.
You know what I like about what you did, Afrodamus? You did that intentionally, by the way. But anyway, I don't want to take too much time.
No, because Lozi, here's the thing. Yeah. Because over here, right? So usually, because my thing is because most people confuse it. They think it's my views, but I want everyone to get their views in so people can discuss different.
No, I like how you strike them. I like how you bait them and they always fall for it sometimes. But here's the thing. Look, man, you can. I don't want to dwell much on discussing about South African because I think earlier on I did explain the issue of the electricity and where we're going. I think we're on the right trajectory as a country. We just have one obstacle on the way. If it goes well, then we'll be fine. One obstacle, I mean, probably our geopolitics at the moment. But either way, you can feel the hate that there's this thing.
Do you think the West Africans are jealous?
No, not just the West African, man. Even the guy who was speaking here last time, it's like they've got a lot to say about our country. That's the weird thing I don't understand. They seem like they wake up and investigate about our country, do research about our country. And Afrodamus, you've been on this panel for the longest. Do you see South Africans calling in to discuss like that guy's from Cameroon? Have you ever heard us talking shit about Cameroon, saying Cameroonians are doing? We don't even want to know about their country. That's the thing with us. We focused on our country. But people have a lot to say. Now, that could be because of one thing. We are the role models in Africa for most part, and they don't want to admit this. But if you look at even the numbers of people running to our country, it says it all, Afrodamus. How many South Africans have you seen in other African countries? I'm not saying we don't migrate, but how many have you seen going to live in Cameroon? But I'm sure that Titi guy who's angry is living here in South Africa. He's probably angry. It's personal, So I'm
No,
just saying, man.
I think he lives in America.
But he's got experience. Either you cannot just wake up and hate people like that. I mean, you could feel the hate and the rage, just like Judy. It's as if these people in Cameroon there, they talk about us. They look at us. It's like, you know, when you are a celebrity and you've got annoying fans who are constantly checking up on you and what they want your attention, but you keep ignoring them and they make you look like you are a bad celebrity now because they are annoying.
Lozi, do you think there's, you know, because, you know, do you think Judah is mad that his president lives in a white village?
No, look. I think they mad because deep down we South Africans, we don't have everything as black South Africans, but on average we live better on the continent. We one of that phase that like our infrastructure we have got access to better things compared to in African standards, not in comparing to South Korea or no, we don't. We're not close to those countries. But in Africa, we're one of those blacks who have got privilege. And I think we are hated because of it. You know, you get my point. We do have our fair share of problems. But the funny part is, Afridamas, they are constantly picking on us. They're constantly in our business. They talk a lot about us. They have a lot to say. But you compare our country with theirs, they've got more problems. Meaning, I have a lot to say about their countries, but I don't go there. You know why? Because that's not how envy works. When people are like a black man is inferior to a white man. Do you know how many times a black man tries to talk shit about the white man? The white man just keeps ignoring the black man. In Africa, South Africans are like the white men of Africa. They constantly pick on us. They constantly come to attack us, but we keep ignoring them. And I think that's the power we have, and we must keep on ignoring them. But just back to South Africa, brother Afridamas, I don't think we are going to be a failed state. And I want to correct what that sister from Liberia was saying when she said South Africa is not where it used to be. She never lived here, Fridamas. And when people pass such statement, I was born here, I lived here before apartheid. I know exactly what my country was like before and what is like today. And I even do research. Things have changed. We are actually way much better today than where we were. The question
do you think she's putting American standard on you guys? Because she lives in America.
She should try to put Liberian standards on us, and we see how that goes. If you're gonna judge me based on America, I mean, America is a superpower. It's way developed. That's the funny thing, Afridamas. They say they have a lot to say about South Africa, but they always compare us with these best countries that are 300 years light away from us, and they're even 300 years older than us. They don't compare us with our peers. That says a lot about where we are. Now, are we becoming a failed state? No, I don't think so. And we are better than where we were before. The question should be, could we have done better? That's the question. Could we have done better than where we are? I think we could have done way better, way better. But I don't think we are. But anyway, people have a lot to say, man. That's what I've realized. People had a lot to say about my country here. But we must keep on ignoring the haters. It's like we are celebrities. They are our fans. They hating from outside the club. They can't even get inside,
Judah, are you hearing?
Oh, they're hating from outside, man.
Thank you, Los.
Okay, cheers, brother.
All right, have a good one. Thank you very much. All right, Kwaku, thank you for this super chat. Kwaku said, "Good show, Afridamus. Thank you for that." He says, "Shout out to the South Africans. The white dude has some sort of grudge against South Africa. He's been hating on you on his YouTube channel for ages. I used to watch him." Kwaku, thank you for the super chat. And let's see. Aldo, thank you. It's a great show, Afridamus and Supergirl. Guys, it's a late one for me here, but we will be back for more, keeping you updated on the latest saga that is happening, on the streets. And, I hope you guys enjoyed the show because I sure did. Judah and all the other panelists, Lozi, Josie, Rats, Gwe, To Niger, Titi, and all the people that called in, Zongo. Thank you very much for calling in, and all of you that are watching. I hope to see you guys on the next one. We have very interesting topics coming up. And as usual, I don't want people to come here complaining. Oh man, Afridamus, you picking on us. The topic is open for everyone. So it's all about you come here, say your piece, explain how you see things. all opinions or facts are welcome here. So until next time, I'm your host, Afridamus. I will see you on the next one. I'm out.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled